Hello and welcome to AntipoDnD, a show in which a bunch of Australians play Dungeons and Dragons in a setting partly inspired by prehistoric Australia and New Zealand. And I just realised how high my camera is, so excuse me one moment. There I am. Okay. So, in our last session, or first of all, I am David, I'm the Dungeon Master. I'm very well prepared tonight as usual. I am joined by April, Kynwyn, Doug and Zindy. In our previous session, our players returned. Well, a lot happened in the previous session. It began with an encounter with Engadon, the All-Slaver, goddess of undeath. And it did not go particularly well. After some attempts at negotiation, it ended with dozens of zombies attempting to restrain or possibly kill or drown our party members. Well, Engadon ended up trapped on the other side, well, stuck on the other side of an invisible force wall that their ally Zurasa had put up. Running out of options as they were essentially besieged in this stable in the middle of nowhere, they were suddenly joined by Captain Rala Swift, now Avatar of Gemdanen, who asked them for a destination. Where would they like to flee to? They said that they were heading to Providence, and so in a massive burst of lightning, the whole party found themselves in Providence after a good percentile roll, which meant they landed exactly on target. They're in the courtyard of the Coruscant Academy, their intended destination, from where they received some quick support and healing after having taken quite a serious beating from the zombies. And they then, so Captain Swift then politely excused herself and informed everyone that she was planning to get drunk down at the docks. The rest of them debriefed Izad, their Aussies contact at the Coruscant Academy, who has been coordinating him with some additional work, which goes a bit beyond what a graduate of the Academy would normally take part in. Throughout this process, much was revealed, especially to Izad, who was a little shocked to discover that they had a Tarthian wizard in a necklace. But when Photericus came up with a cunning plan for what to do with this wizard, especially now that there was a Tarthian delegation in the city hoping to establish an embassy, much to the chagrin of many locals, Izad decided to effectively deputize the entire party. So they've been made pathfinders of the Coruscant Academy, a role which very few people actually know about, and probably no one else in this school is aware of. This gives them the ability, shall we say, the authority to go beyond simply representing the school and actually take an active role in defending its interests and the city of Providence and maintaining peace and solving problems related to magic. After Photericus suggested a plan of perhaps attempting to disguise himself as this captured wizard and use that to find out what the Tarthian delegation is truly up to in Providence, Izad suggested that they all sleep on it overnight and come to him with a proper plan in the morning, at which point he would hopefully have more information for them in return. So our party left the academy and were greeted by Connie, the mute tiefling, who they met all the way back in episode 2, who finally brought them to the destination she was trying to usher them to in episode 2, a orphanage called Common Ground, which is also apparently a kind of boarding house as well as communal garden. There they caught up with Nexa, an elderly tiefling with one broken horn, who seemed to have taken an interest in this group, especially after they spoke up for Connie after she had been improperly put into detention at the academy and placed into essentially a zone of silence, which must have been torturous for the poor thing overnight. So Nexa has invited the four of them to lodge in the boarding house part of what was clearly once a Tarthian manor from before the rebellion that overthrew the slavers that built this city. And as a final action, Vitericus, in order to entertain the children, cast his newly learned spell of Nerek's Major Spectacle and created an impressive display of light and colour for the children to play with as they jumped around the garden. And so that is where we left off at the end of this episode. So as this is going on, Nexa walks up to the other three of you and says, so in terms of how the boarding house works, it's generally open to anyone that I pre-approve to stay there. You can stay for as long as you like. The payment for your lodgings will be as much as you think is appropriate or can afford. It is entirely up to you how much that is. And the rooms that you can choose whichever rooms you prefer. I'll take you there in a moment, but she points around the area and I'll move you to that area. I just drop you in as a party at the moment, and can you actually see what's happening? Because I just realised I might have forgotten to set up the.
Oh my God! Look, there's us. We're tiny.
I forgot to sit.
Oh my God.
Okay, I've turned on global illumination just in case there is any light problems. But so here we have common ground. So you can see it is an old Tarthian villa. So Nexa points up to the north where you have the orphanage. There's a tall building on the corner that is sort of the atrium. It's a public space that is also part of the orphanage. She tells you that the orphanage is off grounds completely without an escort by either herself or Connie. They're the only two who have authority to take strangers into that area. There are baths to the west, which again is off limits unless you've been pre-approved to go in there. She explains that there is a furnace with underfloor heating, which also heats one of the pools, but you will need to manage the furnace yourself. The boarding house itself is the eastern wing, which is the former servants' quarters. Now, if you look at the floor plan that I've got on the right, you can see on the ground floor you have, this is Nexa just sort of walking you through the area and quickly explaining what's there. So you've got the kitchen to the north, there's a dining room to the south, which can also double as sort of a common room. There's a pantry for the kitchen, then you've got stairs leading up. And on the first floor, because we're Australian, there are 5 bedrooms, plus a room at the top, which has become the de facto privy, including just a very simple sort of bath and chamber pot. Dust collection is daily, so hygiene is reasonable in town. It doesn't have a sewer system yet, but that is taken care of. And so, as she leads you through, she encourages each of you to pick a bedroom, each of which at the moment is very sparsely furnished. As you look inside, it's just a very simple wooden bed and a wardrobe with a drawer at the bottom for storing stuff. So, which of these rooms do you take, and do any of you double up?
Moment of everyone else waiting for someone else to make a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vitericus will throw his kid in B3.
B3, huh?
Mhm.
Dagmara's gonna go into B4 because she only needs a single bed and she assumes someone will take B5 and she likes being nestled between friends.
Well, if none of you are going to take it, I'll take the double. I prefer 2 windows anyway. I need space.
Had a feeling that was where Aussie was going to end up. Mozart will take B2.
Cool. Now, down the bottom, we've got these isometric layouts that show you just the rough layout of each room. And I'm now going to drop into Discord, just our art channel on Discord, just a PNG with just those isometrics in them. I encourage you, if it pleases you, to think about how your character is going to decorate your room while you're here.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you sort of do a paint over, maybe as a transparent PNG, I'd love to drop it into this scene another day.
Love that.
And
So fun.
as part of that, Nexar explains that you are welcome to sort of do any decorations, modifications, improvements, as long as it doesn't damage anything that's existing, and any upgrades to the structure or anything like that will still be there when you leave. So you're not taking the room with you, of course. But furnishings and so forth, you can add and take with you later if you decide to find a place on your own. But you are welcome to stay here as long as you like.
Yay! This is Dagmar's first time with a room out of home, so...
Oh.
You gonna do that thing where you paint each wall a different color?
Oh, she's painting everything black, yo.
God.
My cave away from home.
Then there's gonna be so many rocks in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be
Rock
so fun.
collection.
Room tour in a few weeks. We'll do that.
So you've all picked your rooms, and I assume you've just dumped whatever packs you have inside them. Are any of you going to do anything before you crash for the evening?
I mean, we're all pretty under strength at this point.
No,
A
Aussie
bath
needs to go.
would be excellent.
Aussie wants to speak to Vitericus really quick as well.
All right. Well, I'll be downstairs fetching myself a drink or something.
Oh yeah, if everyone's down there, it's
Actually,
cool.
Yeah, I might. Mozart can tag along, see what the eating arrangements are like.
will. There is fresh water. There's a system that collects rainwater and funnels it into both the privy on the first floor and into the kitchen on the ground floor. But beyond that, the kitchen and pantry are bare. No foods, no drinks.
So we need to go shopping.
All right. Water it is.
Well, I mean, Mozart's still got supplies and stuff, so if you don't mind having dried meat and biscuits.
Yeah,
Is that-
no, that's fine.
Is there space to boil like a little Surely? Orzord? Orzord? I meant Morzord and Aussie. I was going to say Aussie and Morzord.
Aussie
Well,
and Mozart.
I think we just found
Morzord.
the ship name.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, that also.
I don't
counts
think
as a
either
crack-
of them want that. Yeah,
crack
that's a
ship,
rapper.
though.
Real rapper.
Absolutely.
A kettle. A kettle is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Would either of them have like a little kettle or something? Is there space to like boil water or?
There is a wood-heated stove that you can put pots on and so forth. So yeah, easy enough.
Cool. I'm making tea.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let me save you on wood. I'll heat metal the stove.
How long does that last for?
I'd not thought about that use of that spell, but what is the duration?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. I didn't think about this before. Concentration up to a minute.
Oh, that should be long enough.
That's
if you can-
more than enough, yeah. I mean,
Jeez.
that's
if you take it up to high temperature, then coming
Yeah,
down
it's
off
red
it.
hot, right?
yeah.
So
That's basically just an induction stove right there. You are now hot.
He was hot the whole time.
I mean, instead of even just heating the metal on the stove, we could just put this on your fingertips and you can hang on to it. Would that burn you?
that would be awful. Please don't do that.
Noted.
We can, however, put it on the stove and I can just heat the pot if that's going to be easier.
Let's do that.
All right.
Cool.
Right,
that
now.
will cost me
check
a
us out.
second level spell slot.
Being
Well,
domestic
Hell yeah.
with our
Domestic
spells and
second
stuff.
level spell slot, yeah. Right. My question is, do we need to speak to someone about what was that town that the zombies were in, sorry?
Golden
Golden
Ford.
Ford?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone
I'm-
there is dead, right?
Yeah, that's an issue. Did she
Hmm.
kill everyone? I think I exploded like
she's
20 people.
still
I'm not feeling all right
there?
about that.
There
don't
wasn't
know.
people anymore. It's fine.
That,
I think
yes.
they were people before they were dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that
Was
weren't our
that
fault.
did I just splatter an entire population?
No, they was like that when we got there.
But yes, yeah, you did.
Oh, thanks, Dagmar. What are we gonna
You know, she's still there as far as we know, right?
What
I
about
mean-
other travelers? What about that's a main point of trade, right? Like the road to provenance goes through there.
Yeah,
Well,
can we send a sign to Rivermeet and say, don't?
the gates was closed, so people ain't just going to walk in there. But I suppose stopping them from going that way is a good idea.
Well, I mean, that was people's families and stuff in there, right? I think we should probably tell some sort of authority figure what happened.
Who's in charge of the place, though?
Don't know. Or at least I should have told Ezard. I forgot.
Surely
Well,
we
we
could tell Nexa and it could go through whatever channels they have.
We could send a tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Call Crime Stoppers.
Courier?
Leave an anonymous tip. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Who's
like don't want to
David,
alarm
who's-
anyone.
Who's
but
Crime Stoppers in this world? Yeah. Who do we call?
Well,
that
well,
depe-
you got.
that would depend. Generally speaking, the Wandering Isles is a series of essentially city-states. So the only people who had authority over what happens in Golden Ford are the people of Golden Ford.
Were the people of Gold.
Were the people of Golden Ford.
Oh, let's be optimistic. Maybe one of them survived. It'll be fine.
The
Right?
academy seemed kind of friendly and look aftery and stuff. So, like, what if they sent a message to the people at Rivermeet that we spoke to? That
I mean, I don't have a sending spell, so I suppose we could tell Izud in the morning.
he might know what to do anyway.
Perfect.
It would occur to some or most of you that with Mercer's Pass still off limits, Golden Ford is on the way north
Oh, crap.
to Rivermeet
so it
and
is.
Heron's Perch. It is
Main
everybody
area,
who
yeah.
travels that road will be going through Golden Ford.
Yikes.
Hmm.
So we should prioritize that, I guess.
Hang on, maybe I could just write a little note and give it to Glow, and then she can fly it to Izud. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think it can wait until the morning at very least.
Do you think?
Nobody's leaving now. Right?
I mean,
We'll
none
catch
of
them
us
in
are
the
Might
morning.
leave in the morning, though.
if he's walking on
Hmm.
the road at this time of the afternoon, like, I mean, you're gonna stop there anyway.
I just don't really feel okay about any of this.
I think you
All right,
should write a
I'll-
letter.
You
I'll
could,
write
yeah,
one
you
before
could-
we go to bed. I'll
you
give
could
it to
send a
Glow.
note. Yeah.
Glow can drop it off.
Flo did a good job with that other note that we had.
Did Vitericus just roll
Yeah.
his eyes at Glow?
No. No.
I think she'd peck him if he did that.
Yes, correct. That would be awful.
So,
Enjoy.
how do you word this message?
I am going to, over the next little while, compose it and send it to you in Discord.
Cool. Aussie, how are you going to instruct Glow to deliver this?
Right. Does anyone have any leather cord? Maybe I could tie it to her little leg.
Oh yeah, I do.
Good. I'm gonna tie it to her leg like a little messenger pigeon, which I'm sure she's not happy about.
She
What?
keeps on sort of fighting you and just trying to grab the message with a claw. She seems to
Oh.
saying, "Look, I can carry it. I can carry
Fine.
it. I'm not
Don't
an
drop
idiot."
Every single time I've asked you to go out, you always stick your head in a tree. Don't leave the wildlife alone, please. Right. I don't. Wait, Izzard has new office now. Was there any windows in his tower? I don't remember.
I think
Was
I
there?
think it was overlooking the courtyard, wasn't it?
There was a window, yeah.
What's the window? I mean, he's probably still there at this time of the night. I assume he works a lot. Glow, just go and tap on the window and see if anyone's there. Or at the very least, Vatericus, make sure Izzard is written in really big letters on the outside of the scroll.
Of course.
Yes.
Remind me, did Glow come with you into the office, or had you resummoned
did.
her at that point?
I feel like Wussy would have, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yep.
I don't think she was there for the battle, but yeah, definitely he would have resummoned her.
Glow jumps onto your shoulder, Aussie, and gives you a little nuzzle, and you get the impression that the instructions are understood.
Good.
Bird cuddles.
Perfect. I have signed it and handed over to Glow.
Perfect. I will go and throw her out a window.
Lovingly.
Cool.
Yes. Well,
Um,
she's so small, I could probably just like pick her up and.
Okay. So Glow flies off, and hopefully will return in a few minutes.
Well,
Excellent.
we'll know if he
Okay.
gets it or not in the morning, I suppose.
Wonderful.
Do you want to talk about that, Vatericus?
Talk about what?
The god of death?
The whole thing?
Yeah,
That
that's a
just
whole thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you do some weird things when you're drunk, but that is a pretty spectacular
You
choice
look
of
like
women.
you were talking to her a lot, and then you told me not to shoot her, and then she like killed me and Morzod nearly.
I killed
Yeah.
like
We
20
got
people
better.
and was basically throwing sparklers at a god for you.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they were already dead. Re-killing them? Anyway, unkilling them? Who
That
knows?
was a lot of
Undeading
viscera.
them?
I guess that's probably not the major point here anyway, right?
Undeading?
The semantics of what
Yeah.
happens when you kill a zombie. Yeah, this has been a whole thing.
True
I
dedication.
have no
mentions-
idea what's going on.
Yeah, she mentioned something, right? Nightingale? What was that? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, neither have I. And yet here I am, apparently the Nightingale. So
Is that what's that check? What am I doing?
Insight.
Insight check? Wow, I know how to play D&D.
It's an old story,
Yep.
that one.
And Doug, roll persuasion or deception.
yes, because I know what the Nightingale is, don't I, from last week?
Also knows too, I rolled well on that
Looking
one.
out of my ass.
Actually, no, you didn't roll well on that one. Morzod was the only one who tweaked that
Yeah,
one.
Morzod did speak. I believe Morzod did sort of talk a bit about it, because
Yeah.
you all went,
Morzod picked up Engadon. I think I had the folk story for the Nightingale because I rolled high on the history for that, and that was like my only non-one of that entire conversation.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, you rolled like
But
5
That's
it
ones.
right,
was
yes.
The name of the god that didn't wake up.
Yes, that's what Morzod picked up. So I got a 19 on deception.
I got an 18. Damn.
Silver tongue.
Dang it. I mean, yeah, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, we could go to the library and try and find something on it.
You're asking him on a date. Going to the
Yeah,
library.
absolutely not.
I am apparently spoken for. So, well, or at least I was. Maybe not anymore. We'll have to see how that goes.
Mm.
I would love to. I tried to make a reservation while we were up there. Unfortunately, they couldn't fit me in. The library is fully booked.
Is this really the time for this, Vatericus?
Tired. It's been a day. Jokes are all I have left.
Yeah, I can see it's sort of a defense mechanism for you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that. Let's go to the library tomorrow. I have a few errands I have to run in the morning, but I'm free after that.
Perfect. Good. Excellent. I guess we also have to talk to Izid in the morning, right?
Yes, we'll be there anyway.
It will be academy-ish. Anyway. Good.
Also,
Dagmar, Morzord, are you wanting to come to the library and research with us?
I'm thinking I better go and get us something to eat. If we're gonna be staying here for a while, we're gonna need something. Gonna stock up a pantry.
I am gonna skip the library unless you need someone to rest books on again.
There are
Um,
lecterns there. It's all right.
Oh,
You
Yeah,
wanna come
I'm
along
like-
and buy all the food and stuff?
Yes.
Find a market somewhere and get some bits and pieces I can cook for you guys.
I need to
Alright.
pick up a few things anyway.
Alright.
Okay.
And seeing as there isn't anything to eat at the moment, I think we should all just go to bed.
Agree.
Sounds wonderful.
Do I feel Glow? Where is she? How's she doing?
I'll get you, and I'll get everybody to give me a perception check, please.
Deception.
19 from Viddy.
19 for Aussie.
Wow.
17 for Dags.
Whew.
And hey, 5 for Mozart. He's tired.
Okay. All right. Yes. Glow does fly back to you, Aussie. Glow, through the door and down the hallway and into the entrance of the kitchen. And you get a feeling of pride and achievement from her.
Ah,
She's done the thing.
she did it. Good girl.
Hey.
Also, in fact, everyone except Morzod, just as Glow flies in, you realize you hear what sounds like little tiny footsteps running away.
Did you hear the pitter-patter of little feet, or am I going crazy?
I definitely heard pitter-pattering.
Did you see anything, Glow? Or were you not looking?
Bag of potatoes and carrots.
How is Glow going to communicate this?
One chirp for
See?
yes.
Glow,
Just a chirp. It's more like a laugh.
yeah, Glow lands on your shoulder, Orsi, and then peers down the corridor and looks at you and down there and at you and down the corridor.
Okay. I think someone was watching us from down the corridor.
It sounded kind of child-sized. I don't think
We
there are any
are-
other dwarves around.
We are next to a orphanage, so
Cheese. We're gonna need some cheese.
you get some vegetables and stuff as well, Morzord.
Yeah. 'Cause you only what sort of things do you particularly want?
I can make you a list.
Yeah.
You are,
I'll go check out the footsteps, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll sort of
by the way,
filter out.
you are now living directly outside a communal garden which includes fruit and vegetables.
Ooh. Oh, hang on. What season is it?
Oh,
I'm gonna have
and
to do
yes, next I
research.
would have explained you are quite welcome to take from the garden, but please pay either Connie herself or one of the other older kids if neither of them are available. They'll know how much to charge.
Good eye.
It's basically market value.
Convenient.
All right.
So we had to get permission before we went to the Barb house, yeah?
Yes.
Is there anyone around that I can ask permission from? Because I don't want to get into my amazing new bed that I have ownership of in the state that I am in.
Oh, I'm covered in gore.
Yeah, you're disgusting.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, absolutely feral. So I would imagine if that is a kid at the end of the hallway, like the silver-haired lunatic covered in bits of people, sort of walking down to check it out. Probably not a good first impression.
Yeah, I probably should have at some point worked out, what do you do about your appearance? I'd like to think that it has been raining It has been
Ah.
raining.
Great. So
Cool.
it's like the top half of him is sort of less peopled, but
Yeah,
as you go
bits of
down
intestine
further,
in the
it gets
armpits.
Yeah, it's like
messier
a
and
gore
messier.
Yeah.
gradient.
It
It would
you're,
have to be torrential to wash it out of his hair.
this isn't Dragon Age Origins level gore. Now it is. You basically just look dirty and wet.
Oh, hang on. If they're all body parts of other people, maybe they didn't come through in the warp spell because that would have been warping like, at least 80% of another person. So maybe all the bits stayed behind when we teleported?
But if you were to
Ah.
wear a necklace made out of people's bones, no, I'm not going into that.
Anyway,
This
so
is
yes,
this is what Zarasa can do. That's her job, to figure out that kind of teleportation
I
magic.
think
Selective teleportation.
I'm probably
that's
going
deadly.
to. There's a bath upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Privy, yeah.
Yeah.
So a tub.
Great. So I will. Well, anyway, Dagmar hasn't indicated that she wants to go anywhere yet, but I'll grab like a coin or something like that, and I'll heat metal it, and I'll kick it into the tub.
Nice.
Well,
Like
Vaterica,
is
Yeah.
that
before
like
you,
a cup or a little?
The tub's probably metal.
hang on, Vatericus, before you go, was there anyone down the hallway? Did you check?
Was there? I did go have a look.
Yeah. Okay. Give me. By the way, were you running after them or just looking out?
Mostly peering out.
Okay. Give me a perception
Yeah,
check,
long run.
please.
22.
22. Even with a 22, they are gone.
No one, I assume children or a halfling spy who's trying to gather information on us, one or the other. It's fine.
Or a really big rat.
Possibly a big rat. That too.
No, it sounded like 2 feet for sure.
Big
Rat
rat
man,
walking
then?
on its back
Yeah.
legs then.
Horrifying.
Excellent. Good. Well, I'm going to go have a bath. So if you'll excuse me,
I'm gonna go to the
I have-
bath house.
bits of people to wash off.
Yeah, you do.
Mm.
Okay.
I'm just sweaty.
Dagmar, as you walk out, you can see that with the light show ended, the kids are back inside. You can see there's
What
still.
time is it about?
It's early evening at the moment, probably about 7 p.m. But I mean, you all are exhausted, so you could easily drop off right now. But you also get this. The general sense is people do go to bed relatively early around here, and then just rise with the sun. It's a lot easier than having to light, everything at night. It uses less fuel this way. But you do see there are some lights coming from the essentially the I think it's the atrium, the big tower to the north, which is possibly where Nexa stays.
I'm gonna head for that.
Okay. You do find her inside there. She is well, give me a perception check as you walk in.
16.
16. Yeah, as you walk in, you see she seems to be just finishing a conversation with Connie via sign. And Connie, they both notice you as you come in, and Connie looks up at her a little nervously, and Nexa just, waves her off, and Connie goes through one of the rooms back into the orphanage wing. And Nexa turns to you and Dagmar and says, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yeah, hi. I was just wondering if I could use the bathhouse, please.
She says, yeah, all of the kids are out now, so it's currently empty. You'll have to, if you wanted to heat the water, you'll have to take care of that yourself. The furnace is serviced outside the building.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Okay.
know how fire works.
All right, just, and she goes through her pockets and takes out a key and gives it to you. Key to the bathhouse. Get it back to me when you're done. If I'm not here on the ground floor, just put it on that hook over there.
Thanks.
Cool. And yep, so you're able to head on over. I'm not going to make Dagmar make any rolls to start a furnace. This is Dagmar's bread and butter.
Say if she fails, she's just gonna use her magic bow to start a fire.
Nice.
But yes, soon you have a roaring fire, and it doesn't take long for the hot pool to heat up into a comfortable point, and so Dagmar can relax after.
She's gonna cannonball into that pool.
Correction, so Dagmar can cannonball and then relax.
Yeah, then she's gonna float for as long as it takes for her to feel alive again.
Oh boy.
So
See you tomorrow.
3 months
Yeah, she's
later.
been there a
no.
while.
Yeah.
Lots of hair washing, lots of just soaking.
And the rest of you, Vetericus, you're also taking a bath, which makes a lot of sense. Anything else for the rest of you?
You go.
Aussie. No.
No.
That was the
After-
same note.
It was. I was going to say Morzod's probably thinking about cooking and that kind of thing. He'll probably use the privy after Vetericus, because he's not feeling like imposing on Dagmar's swimming around and stuff.
He is very nude.
Yeah, so privy after Vetericus, and then probably just sitting around thinking about what he's going to cook.
Would the bath water after Vetericus just be red? Would it just be yucky?
It's-
You'd probably just change it out.
It's not red, but it is brown.
I don't know, or
Can we change it out though? How do we change it out?
bathing Japanese style. He washed it, then he climb in.
There is basically a pool of clean water, which you then use a bucket to pour into the actual tub for bathing in. So you can then just empty it out. I don't know if Vetericus will do that after he finishes, but the idea is empty it out, pour fresh water in.
Okay.
Morzod can do it before he starts if Vetericus is rude.
Yeah, no, I've lived in places with other people before. I'll empty the water, I'll refill it, and I'll kick another heat metalled coin in there to warm it up again.
Aw,
If
what an
it's
outstanding fella.
Aussie wants to take a bath in the bathhouse, but he doesn't want to do it while Dagmar's there.
You can come wait.
I think he's
got
just
a
gonna wait
key.
outside until she's finished.
That could be a while.
Perfect. I will walk out.
You are
with-
waiting for a solid hour. I'm just
That's
gonna
fine.
warn you.
It's just writing.
But
in
then
his
yeah,
book.
I'll come out.
Okay.
Derek-
And I'll
hair is
probably see you in
fully
the
out.
shadows and be like,
If Aussie, are you waiting in the garden outside the bathhouse?
Yeah, he's just sitting there writing in his little book.
Can I just get a perception check from you, please?
Sure. Perception. Perception's good. That roll wasn't there. 9.
9. Okay. Carry on.
Writing in his book.
there's something
Very
to see, but you
gross.
haven't seen it.
I
I
mean,
don't
there's gonna
think-
be
Is
Kids.
Glow paying attention? Probably not.
Give me a roll from Glow, please.
Sure. She gets advantage. She also rolls garbage. Okay, let's see. Come on, Glow. Oh, that one's better. 18, 19. A flaccid 20. Maybe that's not even high enough, though.
Cool. Carry on.
Oh, okay. All right. I will. I'll sit here and Aussie will write in his book.
Morzod, are you waiting
Dagmar
at the
will-
door, by the way?
no. He'll because you have to go past his room to go back to your room anyway. So
That's true. Well, Vetericus has his hair like full Einstein frizz going because he's washed
Nice.
out absolutely everything.
Ugh.
Yes, and he's basically wearing wrapped the cloak of the manta ray around his waist, and he's walking back to his room with all his gear.
Yeah, Morzod.
Ideally to clean it at some stage, but that's not coming out anytime soon, so that's fine.
I'd like to imagine Vetericus bathed with the cloak of the manta ray, so that he could,
Oh, so he could just
you know,
put his head
just
under. and-
fully immerse himself.
Same. Yeah.
Almost certainly.
Yep, and
Yeah.
breathe in everything that you've washed off. Maybe not such a great
Ah.
idea.
No.
alright.
Now that I think
Gil-
about it.
Gills filter all that sort of stuff out, right? And the cloak of the manta ray is just gills that reach down into my lungs.
Yeah. if you have pet fish, pour blood and bone into their tank. They'll be fine.
Works fine.
I love it.
Yeah, no. So probably, I suspect I try it and then it doesn't go very well at all, and so then I jump up, spit out all the horrible zombie water that I've just inhaled, and carry on with a normal bath like a non-insane person. Yes, good, excellent. And then I'm just in my room cleaning my gear from that point.
Cool. Dagmar, you have your bath. You return to your room and crash, I assume?
Yeah, I guess on the way out, I see Aussie lurking in the garden.
I'm not lurking. I'm just sitting here.
It's dark. Everyone in the dark is lurking.
I suppose.
I will see Aussie and kick him the key and tell him where to put it back.
Right. Thank you.
Just as you finish that conversation, the two of you hear something very clearly. I'll get perception checks from Morzod and Vitericus to see whether you hear it indoors.
Okay, perception. Where is my
17 from Vitericus.
perception? That's only a 10 from Mozart.
Okay.
He's preoccupied.
Morzod does not notice this. Vitericus, you hear it faintly, but Aussie and Dagmar, you hear in the distance a loud screech, a horrifying which didn't come through Discord again, but it's
The recording.
Oh, at the start?
yeah. But it's huge and it echoes all across the valley. You have the valley all across the city. And as your eyes turn in the general direction, you can see the blue crystal that hovers over the panopticon and protects the entire city has started to grow brighter and brighter. And you then see something in the sky moving towards it. Great big wings flapping, but not feathers. The crystal is now illuminating it brightly enough that you can see it's not the enormous bird, the Titan of Nessid Claythe. This is something else. From what you can see, I'll get nature rolls from Aussie and Dagmar, since you can see it, to try and identify it.
Sure. Oh, nat 20!
Nat
for
20.
I got a 15.
Okay. So, Dagmar, you're looking at this thing and thinking, is this a dragon? You've heard of dragons. Is this a dragon? It looks like a dragon. It's what people, it's what paintings of dragons look like. Aussie, you're looking at it and seeing it used to be a dragon, but it looks very dead. But it's moving as if it isn't, and it is also, if it is a dragon or was a dragon, it is by far the largest dragon ever to exist.
Like Benedict Cumberbatch at all?
And the phrase comes to you, Dracolich.
Oh no, it's a Dracolich.
Eck.
And
Dagmar,
Painted
what
one of
the-
those.
Is that a dragon?
It's an undead dragon. It's huge. Have you ever heard of something called a Dracolich before? I've never seen one.
as you
Doing?
as you watch this thing goes into a dive like a falcon and goes straight towards the crystal, but the crystal glows brighter and brighter, and then this beam of blue light shoots out like a phaser, strikes this creature, and it lets out this incredible reels back and flaps, these massive flaps with its wings, and then goes in again, and another beam hits it, and it reels back and then turns and flies off into the distance.
Holy crap.
What in the nine hells was that?
Meanwhile,
thing that
Mozart.
just happened here?
Yeah, I suspect I put my kit back on with a bit of a sigh and ran downstairs
Yeah,
I
to
think,
miss all of it. I just came out
yeah.
and went, "Hey, what happened?"
Did you see that?
I heard something. What's going on?
A Dracolich came down and attacked the crystal.
Oh, good.
Oh,
More
it
dead things.
bombed it.
It was beams of light and everything was crazy. You didn't see any of it.
Really cool.
Well, that's a shame.
I didn't know there were dragons in the Wandering Isles. Why was it dead? Is this something to do with your ex-girlfriend again?
Maybe.
What?
Wait, why aren't we dead? If there was a Dracolich here.
What, I mean,
Wait, what? What? How do they work?
what do you mean? Dracoliches?
Should we be dead? Yeah.
I think Vitericus is wondering, where did the Dracolich go?
Yeah. So if giant zombie dragon has attacked us, why aren't we dead?
I mean, it's the power of Desmina, right? The power?
Yep.
Yeah. It protected the city.
Oh, good.
You seem
Excellent.
very blasé about a lot of things.
Dead stuff. Like I've been wearing a dead guy for most of this evening. Dead things aren't quite as shocking to me as they perhaps would have been a couple of weeks ago.
Have you seen a dragon before?
I've heard stories of dragons before.
This thing was I've read about dragons. I've never seen a real one. That was a Dracolich. That thing was huge.
Have
The three
mostly
of-
not seen.
The three of you who are outdoors can now hear just sporadic sounds of cheers and applause coming around. So it seems like other residents of the city who were lucky enough to observe this encounter are basically giving thanks to Desmina in the simplest way possible, just basically cheering and applauding.
You think this happened often?
I don't know. Suddenly very stressed. I was relaxed, and now I'm stressed.
That's why you gotta wait until later in the evening to take a bath, Dagmar. Because the Dracolich might attack the city.
What's happening?
I thought I was. Everyone was like going to bed.
They're children, Dagmar. They go to bed really early.
They kind of look normal size to me.
Oh, poor
Right, well, I'll be
Well,
asking Izud about that tomorrow.
sounds like a
Because-
good idea.
That was a Dracolich, and where did it come from?
Where did it go?
Yes.
Where
And
did it come from,
Bed.
Coco?
look at it this way, Dagmar. You survived, and you didn't even have to do anything. The city
Yeah, but
is
did you die?
well and truly protected.
I have survived a lot of bullshit since I met you people, and I am still tense. So,
Yes,
Maybe-
but the city
Yeah.
protected us this time, so I'm sure it's fine.
that's nice. Let's hope she keeps doing that, because that dragon was really big and really
Why
cool.
would Why would a Dracolich attack the city? They operate on their own terms.
It was like going straight for the god thing, though, wasn't it?
It looked like it.
Maybe they're
it could
beef.
have wanted to take over the city for its horde, enslave people. That's what they usually do. At least that's what I've read about.
Seriously?
Yeah, they're
I
pretty bad.
like dragons less.
Well, from that distance, would Aussie have been able to tell what kind of dragon it used to be?
You got a natural 20, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
23.
Very hard to tell. It's
Like shape of the horns.
Yeah, because you couldn't really make out the color of it because it's all just bathed in the blue of the crystal is the only thing you could see. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because it was so far away and it was all blue and it was still, quite dark.
Okay.
It's impressive. It's impressive you could tell that it wasn't a regular dragon in the first place.
Right, okay. I will leave it at that and make a note to tell Ethan. Right, well, that was exciting. I'm gonna take a bath now. Are
Put
you
the
done,
keys
Doug?
back when you're done. Yes.
Yeah, are you finished? Okay. Where's
I'm gonna
Morzor, by the
go.
way?
Orky
Dance
sounds
the
of
Still in the
Mordor.
bath.
Orky sounds
Oh.
of singing from the privy.
Bubbles floating out the window.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, that was a lot. Today's been too much.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
I'm also going to bed, but the sounds of Morzod singing are going to make me feel a lot better about life.
Okay. Well, I'll see you all in the
Probably
morning.
tone deaf, but you know.
That's fine.
Aussie's gonna go take
Yeah.
a bath by himself now.
Dagmar, the boarding house that you're in, it is dark, and the ground floor is empty. But as you go up the steps, you do hear Morzod singing. You might hear Vatericus if he's doing anything at this point, but you are realizing that this actually feels more like home than you felt anywhere in a long time.
Yay! Bless
Aw.
these close walls.
Roof, good roof.
Yeah, definitely drawing any curtains firmly shut. They will never be opened again.
Mm.
Well, I suppose we're all popping that long rest in or all that.
Just any final business for Aussie before Aussie goes to bed?
No, he's gonna take a nice, quiet bath and hope no one else comes in, and then return the key.
Cool. No, you're fine. So, you
The
all
Dracolich.
retire for the evening. There are no more Dracolich attacks, as far as any of you know.
Oh, good.
You can all hit that long rest button,
Yeah.
and you can
Yay.
all now take full advantage of being level 6 on the next day.
We
And
long rest.
26
Take
hit
long rest.
points. What's up?
You're on
Party
26.
tank.
yeah,
Wizards.
super
Glass
squishy.
cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next time we fight, I'm gonna throw you and Vatericus into a fucking closet.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm still a bit squishy, but that's fine. 39. It's all good.
You
51.
Nice.
you all
Glad that
have
you're even tankier than Morzod. It's because of the low center of gravity, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't knock over easy.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm standing in front of you to protect you, I am doing literally nothing.
Oh, yeah, I picked up the protect thing as well, so anyone that gets swung at while standing next to me.
nice. So you all have the best night's sleep that any of you had basically since arriving in the Wandering Isles. You all wake roughly after dawn, and realize that yes, you'd promised to see Izard in the morning and explain with a plan for what you're going to do about the Tarthian delegation. A plan that you haven't actually put together yet.
Yeah.
So, what do you do?
We forgot to even talk about the fact that you just talked yourself into, and all of us, into like an
Yeah.
actual job.
But Jericho's what in the nine hells were you thinking?
Well, I mean, all this travel with Coruscant Academy types has convinced me that Tarth is worth keeping an eye on. And so here we are, keeping an eye on Tarth.
You thought
But
it
not to
sounded
worry.
fun, didn't you?
Happy coincidence. It's fine.
Are you bored or something? Why do you keep doing this to yourself?
I ain't
No,
never
not
been a
bored,
Pathfinder
just-
before.
Always after the next thing. It's when you stop and think that everything catches up to you. So if you just keep going, nothing ever sticks. It's
None
fine.
of us have had a second to think since we got to this little island, and everything has been happening.
That
I know,
can't be
it's great.
healthy.
GM,
Yes.
is there anywhere nearby that Morzod might have been able to whip out like first thing in the morning and get some like eggs and stuff?
Yep, there are markets, multiple markets throughout town. The nearest to you, I'm just going to check the map. You could go to the markets just outside the North Gate, or the Beach Market, or Arena Square. The choices are open, but the closest to you is probably just outside the North Gate, where a lot of farmers would be coming to sell off their goods.
Hey, could I have Morzod have gone to get some breakfast because they absolutely all need it and he knows it?
Yep, I imagine Morzod sneaking out before everyone else wakes up to make sure that they have food ready when they wake. So, yep, no problem there.
Absolutely. Okay, so over bacon and eggs, we're having this discussion.
And it was the smell of bacon and eggs that got Dagmar out of bed.
Oh yeah,
Did
she
you
would have.
did you get any
otherwise
oats?
Risen by the
You
oats.
floated down the stairs, cartoon style.
Yeah.
Would he have thought of that? Actually, he probably wouldn't have thought of that.
I-
But like,
I can imagine by now. I think Morzod understands what Aussie likes, but doesn't necessarily know, what is a good meal for Aussie.
yeah. I think probably like beans
What's
and carrots.
Morzod's?
Yeah.
What's
Beans
Morzod's
and carrots, which
interpretation?
he has cooked in a pan, but it's just beans and carrots.
Thank
Which,
you.
I mean, I like that kind of thing, so obviously Morzod would think that was a good idea.
Robust, rustic.
It would have been mushrooms, but no mushrooms in this meal, none.
Very very Taurasian Provencal.
I don't know what them fancy words is, but if it's good, you're welcome.
He will not pick a fight and just eat his carrots.
Wonderful.
Actually, are we vegan or vegetarian? Like, would he have butter?
No, he doesn't have butter. He's vegan.
No, okay, vegan. Gotcha.
Sometimes they use nuts to make butter.
Is that real? That's that real? Oh.
Yeah.
I have to find out about that.
Yeah, you
Well,
should.
How do you
I
milk
don't
the
feel-
nuts?
I don't know. That's weird.
Huh. How do they milk the nuts? This is a question we can pontificate on.
This is
morning.
it.
Put it on.
This is
on
the
me
most
list.
important discussion that your party could possibly have at this time.
Absolutely.
Dagmar is wondering if she's ever eaten a nut.
Actually,
I don't think she
Hmm.
has.
interesting
not.
questions.
I
Yeah.
think dwarves just eat a lot of root vegetables.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Or just roots.
Roots and
Roots,
tubers
yeah.
in general.
Tubers and like weird meat.
Yeah,
Now-
probably a
Also
lot of bug
mushrooms as
meat.
well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just meat that occurs in things that live underground.
If we could address the dinosaur in the room.
Hello.
Not you. Not you, Jerry.
I'm just no sorry. I've just had a Wiggles moment and thinking like it's Dorothy. She's over there with the hat and the gloves. And
That's our next. We're gonna fight a T-Rex, and it's gonna be Dorothy. How are you going to? How are you going to infiltrate the Tarthian embassy? You're not a wizard,
It is a
for one.
Bad idea if you go alone. Just off our
ter-
previous
Oh, yes.
encounters with anything.
100% it will be an awful idea if I go alone. But not to worry, I have a plan.
Oh god.
Do enlighten us.
didn't you
Okay,
have
so-
you have a plan back before when we was at the town with all the dead people?
What was your plan, by the way, before Gamdamon stepped in?
Walk my way out of it? That's always my plan.
Oh, good lord. All right, come on. What is it? Tell us your plan.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop that Tarthian out of his necklace into the null cell that Connie was in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that keeps him hidden from the Tarthians. That keeps him unable to do his own magic if he's got any spells memorized. It's all good, right? Or if he's got any tattoos that, let him do spells. I'm going to pump him for information. And then I'm going to use that information to act like I have returned to the embassy. Thanks to the generosity of a handful of errant adventurers who found the necklace and broke me out.
Right.
That us?
That will be you, yes.
Right.
So-
why would we be
Exactly.
coming-
Why would we be going with you to the embassy? She's absolutely correct.
Reward.
Wouldn't
Yes, I would have
Reward.
promised you something for setting me free and taking me
I
home.
don't look?
Wouldn't they just give us money and send us away?
I
mean,
don't pretend
that's
to know a
fine.
lot about Tarthian culture, but
Oh,
I
they
don't even
eat
know
us.
if that's something
I
they
don't
would
know.
do. I don't think they're going to eat us, Dagmar.
I don't really know anything
Hope
about
not.
Tarth, I don't think. Like, I think I know literally nothing about these people everyone keeps talking about.
The Magocracy, they're kind of nasty.
Alright,
That's a-
magic shit.
Long and short of
Yeah,
it, really.
well, I figure that's what I'll get out of the Tarthian when we pump him for info. It'll be fine.
Wouldn't it be smarter to pretend like, I don't know, I'm from an elven citadel delegation, Stonehold, Morzod's hide muscle?
Yeah, we could do that. That would make sense too.
I could pretend to be a dwarf.
I mean, technically, me and you are both nobles, aren't you, Dagmar? You're a noble, right?
Yes! Yeah, yeah. No, I am.
Exactly. It's not really a lie.
Perfect. Well, we can do that too, and you can just be coming in on embassy business. Ideally, I'd like us to scout the embassy first and find the time when all the other ascended are out on a coffee run or something, out to lunch, what have you, so that there's fewer of them in there. And
Let's
then I figure
see.
we wander around, find what we can, and then bounce back to Isid. We don't have to be there for long, right? We just need to find some intel and then go.
I would hate to do it, but I can turn glow into other creatures.
Hmm.
A rat or something.
As soon as you say a rat, Glow pecks the side of Aussie's head.
Ah, I know. I'm sorry, but a burrowing owl's a little conspicuous, don't you think, Glow?
Another peck.
I mean, if you're an elven delegate, you should have a conspicuous familiar, right?
No, absolutely I should. But if we're going to scout out the place from afar, or did you
Ah.
mean just as we're in there? Should we check it first and then we go in, or what?
Well, Dagmar, you're not without sneak skills, right?
I do possess sneak skills.
I can make
Yes.
you invisible, but I don't know if they have anti-magic barriers.
I want to be
Okay.
invisible, please.
Perfect. See? Love it when a plan comes together.
There are
Wait, what
This
am I
is
looking
like-
for? Though?
This is like a net. There are so many holes in your plan, Vitoricus.
Yeah, but you catch more fish with a net than a line, so we're fine.
Are we catching fish though?
We're not going
Well-
fishing.
Dagmar's real good at them catching
should go
fish. You
fishing
remember
then.
the one on
No.
that boat? That was a
Um,
big fish. We should go
I am
down
really
and do
good.
some
Where is my
fishing.
fishing pole?
I think you did come with us.
Focus. Focus.
What? Oh,
Yeah, well, look, I'll know more once I get some intel out of this Tarthian, and then we can sort out going forwards.
And what if he doesn't squeal? What are you going to do?
Well,
I could
he won't
hit
be
him again.
squealing. No, it'll be fine. I have ways of making people talk.
What? What magic do you have?
Oh no, I don't need magic. It's just my charming personality.
so what you do is you grab both of his nipples.
There will be no
mean-
touching of anyone's nipples today, Morzord.
I mean,
Unless they ask.
I'm
Especially that.
just, didn't you ever wrestle with your brothers and sisters and like no?
I'm an only child,
Alright.
so no.
I have 17 brothers and sisters.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, them.
Really?
I hate most of them.
Huh.
But
Right,
yes, I
well-
do know what it's like to be punched incessantly by them.
Interesting childhoods. Anyway,
Wonderful.
Should
So
we go
yeah,
to-
well, look, I need more information before I commit to a full plan, but that's the start of an information gathering expedition, right?
I guess. I mean,
we have
it's
Scout out
Gotta
the
start
embassy,
somewhere.
nothing.
chat to the
Right.
Tarthian. It'll be fine.
I'm preparing my
reckon-
spells for today. I'm going through my spell book. What do you think we might need?
Well, probably if we was looking at the place, and that Invisible's probably gonna be useful.
I can do that.
I've got my goggles.
Let's have a look. I mean, yes, really, honestly. Best I can do to help out is invisibility. Maybe a fog cloud if things turn bad, but that's going to be conspicuous.
What about
Yeah.
what about hearing things? You got anything that like would let you listen?
I have glow. That's it.
Perfect.
Well, shall we go and see?
Yes, let's go
Isid?
see Isid, and then we'll. Because where is the embassy? Do we even know that yet? Isid's going to tell us that as well, right? That'll be fine.
Sure.
You might recall that what's at stake is the Tarthian delegation is trying to negotiate establishing an embassy.
Yeah.
But Izad will, you think Izad will probably fill you in on where they are at the moment.
Yes, their offices wherever they are, which also means they probably don't have too many magical defenses. Because remember, we can't do terribly much in town anyway, so if they're trying to play nice, they won't be doing terribly much in town either.
On the
If they've-
surface, I'm sure they'll be playing nice, but they
Though-
probably have all sorts of tricks up their sleeves.
if they've got like diplomatic suites or something, they probably would be shielded though.
Vitoricus, it does occur to you that you cast a spell, multiple spells the evening before, and nobody, you didn't have any people in red cloaks suddenly dimension door next to you and try and take you away.
No, that's true. That's fine.
So it might be that acts of magic aren't automatically detected. It's more a question of what you do in public.
Yeah, but that's fine. But that means that they won't have many public nets to catch mages. Maybe some in
Well-
the inner rooms, but we don't need to know about the inner rooms yet. That's for when I walk in pretending to be a Tarthian Ascended. It'll be fine.
Keep on saying that.
Yes. Well, technically, now all of you are my co-workers. So let's go and see our boss.
Okay,
Wonderful.
going to move you
Never had a boss.
back to the map of Providence. So, you're all fed. You've got your plans together. As you head towards Coruscant Academy, you go through Arena Square, which is at number 8 on the map.
Is there any evidence of the Draco Lich attack? Because the House of Crystal.
The crystal looks unchanged, glowing very softly, not really noticeable in the daylight. And everybody seems to be going about their business as if nothing unusual happened that previous night.
Look the baker with his tray like always.
If you listen,
Can I keep an eye out for wanted posters?
okay, give me a perception check, please, Dagmar.
And I've put on my goggles.
Whip
so I
Brunhilde.
can roll with advantage. My eyes of the eagle. That is a 23.
Yeah.
Oh.
As you come to the gatehouse that leads towards Arena Square, you do see a familiar poster beside the gate. It's identical to the one that you saw in Rivermeet.
Wait, they
Yeah,
didn't
actually,
see the
yeah.
Rivermeet one. Only Vidi saw the Rivermeet one.
It's identical to the one that Vitericus saw in Rivermeet.
Is anyone looking at it?
Not currently, no.
Can I steal it? I'll put it on my wall.
You can, all right, give me a stealth check, please, followed by a sleight of hand check. That's a thing, right?
I've got sleight of hand. I realised that
Stealth
while I was
You
is-
do,
looking
ooh,
at
yeah.
stats.
9.
Sorry, what was that?
9.
For stealth?
Bro,
Okay.
Nice.
Help
Stealth.
by creating something of a distraction?
do we know that she's going for it? That's the question.
Well, yes, good point. I
From the
probably-
way she described it, it feels like she's just peeled off, and you're
Yeah.
all, and because she rolled a 9, you're all just watching Dagmar sneaking up to the gatehouse.
What is she doing?
Pink Panther theme plays.
Question?
And a sleight of hand check, please.
Oh, that's one of those posters you were talking about, Vitericus.
Oh, good.
7!
Jumps but can't reach.
As you reach up to take it, someone taps you on the shoulder, and you turn to see one of the.
Oh god, it's not that Dragonborn again, is it?
You turn to see one of the
Savages!
City Watch. No, it's not the guy from Rivermeet. You see a City Watch breastplate, helmet, and he's holding a musket, but isn't presenting it to you at all. And says, "Can I help you, miss?"
That poster looks like my cousin. I would like to take it down and get the reward.
Give me a deception check, please.
Oh, look, she got caught.
Oh man.
I should go over and help.
Vitericus, help her!
This is gonna
Oh,
be like
no.
a scene
Okay,
in
so-
Aladdin.
Please don't take me
So-
away.
Watching that bomb happen, I suspect Vitericus is going to wander over.
Videricus, as you wander over, you can see this guard looking at Dagmar, looking at the poster, looking at Dagmar. You can see the wheels turning in his mind.
Wonderful. In which case, then, I'm going to call out, Brunhilde, there you are. How many times have I told you not to wander off? Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. She has delusions of being a mercenary. Sorry. Let me take her
Wanna
away
take
and
some
we'll be on our
money.
merry way.
Can you
I
give
know,
me?
but we have other ways of making money, Brunhilde. It's okay.
Can you give me a deception check, please,
I
Videricus?
sure can.
Look,
I'm not pretending
Morzord.
to be anyone, so that's fine. Ha! I rolled a 2, so my grand total is 19.
Can we
Jesus.
just, before we drop that bomb. I was gonna say that Morzod was gonna come along and Brunhilde as well.
Well-
like also catching up and going, oh yeah, it's Brunhilde. So can I like do an assist or something?
I'm afraid
I wanted
we've
to put
already
that on.
rolled.
Mhm.
And the guard rolled a natural 20. He's rolling really well.
Oh,
Bro, this is gonna be the end of our party.
So you can see
Oh,
that
God.
the guard is now looking at you suspiciously, Vatericus, and then Morzod walks up.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Good lord.
Yeah, keep going. No, keep going.
What does Morzod do?
Well, he's just walking up, going, what is all you doing? We've got somewhere to be, and you are hanging around. What bothering this guard where he's doing his job? Listen, you're
Hey.
wasting the time.
The guard says to Morzod, "Sir, do you know these people?"
Yeah, this bunch of idiots is mine.
He points at Dagmar and says, "Would you mind telling me her name?"
It's Brunhilde. It's
Give me a deception check, please, Morzod, and I'll get another
Alright,
insight roll
God.
from
Yeah. All right, we'll
the
try.
guard.
And it's not great. It's a 7.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay.
I think Aussie's gonna step in now.
Also, got to flash the badge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, before the guard responds, what does Aussie do?
I think he just storms up, looking really important, going, we're supposed to be meeting Izud at the Coruscant Academy in like 10 minutes. What are you all doing? Excuse
I
me,
don't know.
sir.
They stopped to be sightseeing. I'm just trying to catch him back
I'm so
up
sorry.
as well.
And Aussie's going to flash both of his badges.
Mm.
They're with me.
Give me persuasion with advantage, please, Aussie, because you have symbols of authority.
I got a +0, so let's do it.
Race for 1.
Bro. Oh, that's performance. Excuse me. Roll,
Yeah.
please. Oh. Oh, that wasn't with advantage, but that was pretty high.
Yep, roll
Let
again.
me just do that again. Persuasion. 15.
Okay. And the guard is now just looks across all of you and turns
They're
back
they're
back
with
to
me.
you, Dagmar, and says, "If you need the details from this poster, please copy it down. They're not to be removed."
Oh,
And he's thinking,
Oh.
bloody adventurers. I got out of bed for this.
I'm gonna flip out my notebook and pretend to write. Actually, no, I'm gonna actually write it down. But
Yeah, good, because I was
He's
I'm
my
gonna make a
research-
I was
big
just
show
about
of
to
it.
ask for a performance
Yeah.
check.
she's my research student. She's not from around here. We just got her out from a stonehold.
I'm an intern.
Sorry.
Don't make me ask you for more rolls.
I'm going to kick him 3 silver.
You're going to kick him.
Don't.
Oh, 3
Well,
silver.
not kick him, but pass him 3
kick-
silver and
kick
say
guard, roll for
apologies for the
initiative.
confusion.
Mm.
Bribing the guard is gonna make us sound even more suspicious.
Not a bribe. It's just
Um,
exchange of money.
Give
Really?
me. This is going to be persuasion from
Really?
Vatericus.
Billy,
You
why?
guys are the worst. All of you are making it so much worse than it needs
Ah.
to be.
That's a nat 1 for a total of 16.
What the
Stop talking.
You can see he grips his musket a little more tightly and says, "So it is an offence to try to bribe a guard of the City Watch."
All right, if you don't want it, that's fine. I will keep it. But
Oh my God, I'm
I
so
just-
sorry, sir. We
just trying
really
to
do need to
apologize
go.
for the mess.
Don't bribe guards. I'm so sorry. None of us are from here.
At this point,
We only arrived a month ago.
a second guard walks up.
Oh, gods.
Doesn't say anything, but it seems to be offering back up to the first. And the first looks at you, Vatericus, and says, "Would you please move along and
course.
do not touch city property?"
More
Of
than
course.
happy to. So sorry for the inconvenience. Aussie's just gonna shove all of them.
Yep.
Walk.
Yep. Let's get out of here.
Okay. As you all head up the street, you can see, if at any point you turn to look back over, you'll see that the guards are now watching both of you very carefully as you walk away. Vitericus, you think you've been clocked. You now have someone's attention.
Oh
Good.
dear.
Good. That's fine.
I do not look back.
He's got one of those Grand Theft Auto infamy meters, and it's ticking up.
As
Wow,
you,
what was that?
I just thought it was cool. I wanted it. Also, less on the walls. Less people looking for my face.
as you all approach
That's
Arena
wonderful.
Square, you hear a din of voices, which is growing louder and louder. And you're not sure at first whether there's like a fight going on or something, but as you move into the square, you see about 100 people or so, various races, genders, and so forth, holding up signs and shouting. And you realize this is a protest. There is a protest going on, and judging by the signs, they are protesting the Tarthian presence in the city. There are signs with messages like "Slavers go home" and "You are spitting on their graves." Desmina says no, and various pithy little things like that. And you do see that there are more city guards here, and you actually see that there is like this line of protesters all across the edge. So they're not blocking traffic through Arena Square. They're lining the road going all the way up into the Civic District towards the Panopticon.
Wow. People certainly aren't fans of the mother.
I
Yeah,
don't
these
think they much like the
costumes
delegation.
suck.
Oh, this is going to be interesting, isn't it, Vitericus?
Yes, this will be fun.
Hang on. You're gonna be pretending to be one of the people that they don't want being here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am.
Well, hopefully we won't be out in public too much.
That would be the ideal. Yes.
I'm not looking at them all.
Let's keep going.
Okay, you move through the second gatehouse up into the Civic District. There are more people lined up along here, and you can see that they stop basically at the point where the path veers off up the hill towards the Panopticon, and there are guards standing between the protesters and access to the road going up to the Panopticon. But you do notice that the City Watch are actually, they have their backs to the protesters and are facing towards the Panopticon as if they are more concerned about the safety of the protesters than they are about the people they're protesting against.
Would we gather from that the Tarthian delegate is up there near where the Panopticon is?
Panopticon. It's possible.
Anticon.
Certainly, a lot of the protesters seem to be shouting towards that building.
Is there anything docked at the Skyport?
There are no more. There's just the usual airship that you can see, just make out, and nothing else that you can see from where you are.
So it's not like the Tarthians have come in an airship and parked up there and everybody's protesting from there.
Not that you can see, no.
Maybe it's just invisible. That's a good point.
As you continue through the Civic District, you make your way eventually to the Coruscant Academy. It's morning. Students are turning up. Classes are beginning.
And the people who have already been there for a few hours because that bloody 7 a.m. maths tutorial.
Oh yeah, 9 a.m. lectures were the worst.
Oh, I haven't. Like they did actually have 7 a.m. maths. Having full body flashbacks. Sorry.
You can see that there are City Watch posted at the entrance to the academy. You get the impression that security's been heightened all around at the moment, because there are also Coruscant guards, mages on guard inside the academy as usual. So it does feel like everybody's on edge right now. But as you move in, as you enter the academy, you can easily find your own way to Izard's office. It's a fairly open school in that regard. If you're trying to get into a classroom, it would be different. But just going through the admin area, you're welcome to move around. So you can knock on Izad's door. He opens it, sees you all, and invites you inside. Closes the door and seems to just check a ward of some kind, and says, well, thank you all for coming. I've got some good news, I suppose. I've learnt this morning that the negotiations with the Tarthian delegation are going to drag on. The council has decided to open discussion to public input, which I believe is their way of stalling. So it's going to take, I imagine, at least a week before council makes a final vote on it. So we are in less of a rush than we thought. But
Well, I think we walked past that public input on the way here.
yes, I saw that too. So, as you can see, the people are not going to settle for a Tarthian embassy in this city. So the fact that Tarth are even trying is deeply suspicious. They must have other plans here. And if you are still willing to help us figure out what those plans might be, I'm very eager for your help.
As well, Vatericus here has a stellar plan.
Yes.
Don't you, Vatericus? Do tell us. Oh, before you do speak on that, Vatericus, one moment. That Draco Lich, did you see that last night?
This is, yes, the Titan.
That was a Titan?
Yeah, we believe so, yes.
Oh my
Based
God.
on its size, we're not sure whose Titan it is, though we do have theories.
Indigon? No, surely not.
That is one of the theories, I'm afraid.
Fuck's sake.
It is known that Engadon has historically been an enemy of Desmina, which makes sense. Desmina is very much opposed to the very concept of slavery and inequality. And Engadon is called the All-Slaver. So it's not surprising that Engadon's Titan would echo her loathing of anything that is associated with Desmina, such as this city. Fortunately, the power of Desmina has so far proven more than adequate in dissuading any Titans from attacking.
Is it
Yes.
common to see that Titan attacking?
Not common, but not uncommon either, if that makes any sense. This would be the second time this month, which is a bit more common than usual. But it happens, I'd say, 4 or 5 times a year, as long as I've been here at least.
Right, so we have Tarthians here, the god of slavers here, Vatericus, who had a very bad experience with Endagon here. What's
Well,
here?
yes, just up the road. Did you get my note, by the way?
So it says, yes, I did. Yes,
Oh,
thank
good.
you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so wouldn't mind a little more. We've started posting notices to people to avoid Golden Ford, but any more details you could give would be appreciated.
I think Vatericus washed all the details off in the bath last night.
Yes,
Yeah,
you remember
well-
that gore that I was coated with last night when we were chatting?
I thought it impolite to ask.
Okay, good. That's the populace of Golden Ford, or at least some of them.
Each of them, yeah.
So
think
you have
she-
you have a way of explaining things that makes you deeply suspicious at first thought. Could you please elaborate on that?
Did we told you that we encountered Engadon, yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. That was at Golden Ford. So Engadon had basically killed the town and was animating the corpses as her servants. And
That
here
we know
are.
of. The gate was shut. I sent Glow over. She didn't see anybody inside the town. I don't know what the population was, but she had quite a fair amount of puppets on her strings.
Hmm.
And I exploded most of them. So now I'm carrying that emotional weight.
Hence the
Tis-
gore.
It says, well, if they're under Engadin's control, they were definitely already dead. Do not blame
We
us.
told him that, but he-
should bear no weight of grief for ending Enkedon's depraved and revolting control over these corpses.
See, we told you, Aussie, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, you undoubtedly did the good thing, young Lichtenbrown. So, but I will say this: the first time I've heard of Enkedon doing anything on this scale since the Awakening. So, this is most concerning. I might have to speak to some people about this. But that will come later. First of all, the immediate situation of the Tarthian delegation. Do you have a plan?
So, we have a plan to develop a plan. So it's good that we're delayed by a week. But we recon first, right? Like, knowing what we're up against is super, super useful. We were going to check out, where the Tarthians are currently sort of set up, yes?
Yes, they are in...
Check that out.
They're on one of the upper levels of the Panopticon. They're in VIP housing, essentially.
There's
Wonderful.
VIP housing here?
For guests of note, the Panopticon was originally the center of Tarthian power before the revolution here.
How bold of this city to invite them to where they used to hold the seat of power. What a
Well,
knife
here's
in the
the
back.
thing: it's normal practice. It was decided that none of the council rulers of the city should live in the Panopticon, although it is where the council chambers are. But no one in power should live up there, simply as a symbol to make it clear that the leaders are not above the people. But then again, there's all this housing that was left empty as a result. So it was decided that it should be for visiting delegates, people of import, or people who needed protection. That was decided some 40, 50 years ago. And it is therefore the appropriate place for a visiting delegation to be housed. And yes, a lot of people are very pissed off about it.
Yes.
Yes,
indeed.
and you've... Okay, so hang on. Okay. Good news, bad news. Good news, we probably have a floor plan of that, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. We can check that out, and we can go over that and see what's what. Slightly worse news. Have we just housed the Tarthians at the seat of their government where any of their more powerful relics would have been left, had they left any behind? In secret compartments or hidden areas or catacombs?
It's not impossible, but it is extremely unlikely. We did scour the Panopticon and everything that we could find. This was done after the revolution, and also when the academy was established, we did a further sweep of all Tarthian properties to look for such artifacts. The most dangerous are being held here at the academy, and those that are considered less volatile are in the museum under the Panopticon.
Oh, there's a museum.
There is, yes.
Good. Okay, great. We'll deal with that if it becomes an issue later. But the good news about that is, I guess then we would also be aware of what magical defenses the Panopticon has, that sort of thing. So that's excellent. Good. See, told you guys, it'll all come together. We have half of our plan is most of the way there already. The other thing I'm going to need is that Tarthian in the null
Necklace?
cell.
Yep, in the null cell.
He glances at his desk where you can see it, just sitting there as if, it's just just a random trinket.
Oh gods, is he dead? Do you think he's dead?
He'll be
He's
fine.
fine,
He's
he's
been in
fine.
there for 10 minutes now? Something like that at most.
He looks back and says, I've chosen not to interact with the individual yet. I've been waiting for your thoughts.
Excellent, excellent. So we'll dump him into the null zone so that he can't cast spells and the Tarthians can't reach him if they need to, that sort of stuff. I'm going to need his clothes, his boot, and his motorcycle. Sorry, just his clothes.
That guy's eye.
So change him into some sort of prison garb, if that's doable. I'm also going to need... Do lawyers in Providence have specific robes?
He pauses and says, lawyers? What's a lawyer?
Public defenders, people who defend those charged with crimes.
That generally falls upon members of the council.
Do they have like paralegals, people under them who handle the day-to-day type stuff?
Out of context, we're talking about a legal system that doesn't really work that way.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So Vitericus then sort of pushing that and realizing it's not going anywhere is going to say, well, then I'll need some like nondescript grey robes with a fairly heavy cowl and a notepad as well, and a chair somewhere next to the null cell, ideally.
And he says, well, that part we can arrange. I'm not entirely convinced on stripping him and then putting him back in to the necklace, because the question that arises is what do we do with him eventually?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yes, good question. What are the limits on your memory erasure magics?
He says, that is not a spell available to me.
That's a shame.
Is that a thing?
Yes,
Well,
it
he
is.
threatened us with it before, so I figured that would be a...
He says, I can think of one or two individuals at this school who could probably do that, but I'm quite reluctant to bring anyone else in on this, unless absolutely necessary.
You could just get him completely blind.
We could
Get
do
a
that
bit.
too.
A concussion.
We could also give him a concussion, it's true.
I think you lot almost did anyway.
Could
didn't you?
go back to the
did-
original plan
we
and just
did
throw him in the
try.
bay, right? That would be fine.
He says, as long as you're sure that his absence could not be traced back to the four of you.
Yeah, good point. Okay, well in that case then, okay, let me unpack my plan a little more then. I'm planning to front as his legal representative in the matter. I'll say that his amulet was turned in by someone and he's been released, but that there was a note attached that said he was a archaeo thief, basically stealing stuff from ruins that other people had already laid claim to. And that I need some information from him before I can defend him fully and secure his release. And so then, at the end of it, he walks away assuming that I have secured his release.
He thinks about it and says, you captured him near Mirror's Reach, yes?
Indeed.
Okay. What if you say you're not from Providence, you're from out of town, and have come to Providence because he can't be released at the moment?
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
What other towns are you familiar with? I feel like Mirror's Reach probably wouldn't have the kind of services that you're speaking of, but
Rivermeet?
let's see, Rivermeet might.
Could you say you're from Gald and you just arrived to set
Yes,
up?
I could say I'm on assignment from somewhere on the continent. Not necessarily Tarth, because you'll see through that straight away, probably most likely. But
I have a thought. What if you have just been posted to Heron's Perch, where you're immediately sent to Rivermeet to deal with... so you could... tell me, you aren't from the Taurasian Empire, are you, by any chance?
no, surprisingly.
Well-
Almost, just outside of town.
Well, that might have made things easier, but yeah, I suspect you still know enough to fake it, yes?
Yeah, I've operated in Talras for a long time.
Have
All
you?
right. So you can say that you were posted to Heron's Perch, perhaps part of the royal embassy there.
Yes, perfect.
and it can be on their behalf that you're acting as this Tarthian. Yes, you can say this Tarthian attacked a group acting under royal authority. And as long as you, or allegedly under royal authority, so that it can then be shown to be untrue if necessary and not lead to another diplomatic incident. So you are to investigate the veracity of that before he can be released.
Yes, perfect.
Side note, is there anything particularly shiny in this office?
There are, well, it depends what you mean by shiny, but there are paintings, there are what appear to be sort of amulets, a few, they look like they might be old shields of some kind, but bronzy, silvery. It looks like that they might be old magical artifacts which no longer have any use or purpose and are now purely for show.
Well, Morzon dropped out of the plans and calculations long ago, so he's like sort of wandering around eyeballing things.
Okay.
Dagmar is probably with him because
That's
she
what
is
I
now
was
afraid
thinking.
of speaking.
Yeah.
Vaterigus, as you're speaking to Izard, you can see him occasionally glancing out of the corner of his eye to make sure that these two aren't actually touching anything.
They're harmless, don't worry.
I think that one's made of, Dax.
I definitely know whatever metal it's made out of.
Yeah, that one is silver-plated bronze.
I'm going to say that.
Wonderful. Well,
Right.
that's good. So that would give me access to his uniform. We have his mask. That would give me access to intelligence on how he operates and some other core information. And then I can potentially at least pretend to be him for long enough to get in, check for secure documents, get a sense of the plan, and then I can bail straight away.
Yeah.
As necessary.
Do we think that, what if he was operating on his own? In a way, I don't think he was because he's an ascendant, but do you think they might be suspicious to see him full stop?
Well, I can spin the same story, right? That there was an altercation at Mirror's Reach, but I have been temporarily released to, secure articles
like
related
the
to my defense.
plan went south, whoops, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Izard says, I can see many potential holes in this plan, but it is currently the best that I've heard so far, so I might...
Also the only plan you've had so far.
I might be ready to okay this, because with this plan we have a path that would allow you to release the Tarthian. Allow us to release the Tarthian as long as he must not recognize you during this interrogation. He must not be able to identify you in any way whatsoever, or indeed any of us.
Yes.
You have disguised self.
That is definitely not a problem, and I have not had a colossal failure in persuasion at all in the last little while. Good. Excellent. This will be fine.
Yeah, it's actually here. When you're talking to him, tell him that you found the amulet, or that that it was stolen from the people who had it, and it somehow came into your possession.
Tell him I was killed.
We could do that, I guess. Yeah, that would make sense.
Ideally, don't say anything that can be disproven.
This is the problem, yes. Found on an injured Academy Wizard, though, that would be doable. And the Academy Wizard had no good explanation for why there was a soul inside it, so we opened it. Or at least the Academy Wizard had a defense, but we need to verify it before we can pursue it.
This one's got real neat designs on it.
That could work.
It's good work.
As long
Excellent.
as the four of you are depicted as blameless following his incarceration.
Yes, that should be fine.
I mean, we were attacked and we defended ourselves.
Yes, and to that end, your actions until and including incarcerating him can be seen as entirely reasonable in self-defense, because he is no doubt a powerful wizard. The question of what you did with him afterwards, after many days with him under your power, we need to be able to deflect any blame being placed on you for his continued incarceration, even though it may only seem to be a matter of hours or less for him.
Yes, I mean that would be fine though, right? That's the time it takes to travel to a center of government like Providence
Exactly.
and relinquish the
Just
necklace.
make sure your story adds up. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, yes, that should be fine.
All right.
If things do get hairy, do you have a verbal exit strategy you can enact?
We
10-minute recess or something.
well, if things do get too hairy, we can just kill him.
Bold man you are, Izud.
Some things are necessary. I would prefer not to have to do that, though.
All right, well,
Yes, as would I.
let's go with the first plan and see how that goes, and we'll leave that as Plan Z.
Yes, perfect, excellent.
Well,
Well, we have a start at least. We need intelligence either way, so we'll need to talk to this wizard, and we will need to, scout the thing, the beacon.
Panopticon.
Panopticon, that's a word I definitely remembered. Yes.
He
so
says,
we'll
well, regarding the Panopticon, you at the moment you won't be able to go into the upper floors, but the ground floor and the museum underneath are always open to the public, even under the present circumstances.
If I sent Glow as recon, would that be a horrible idea?
He says,
Not as a burrowing owl.
well, it depends on her ability to communicate with you.
She's fantastic. I mean, look, she carried that message all the way to her by herself.
That's true.
Incredible.
He says, very well. That could certainly work, yeah. There are windows on the upper levels that your familiar could possibly look through.
And she's not going to like it, but I could turn her into a rat.
Checking.
He thinks and says,
Are there rats there? I don't really know the state of the building.
not on the upper levels. I would not expect to see a rat on the upper levels of the Panopticon.
Kitty.
What was that, Dagmar?
I said kitty?
Oh, a cat. I feel like a
Oh, no.
cat amongst a bunch of wizards is a little bit obvious.
Kitty is what we call fancy rats underground, but okay.
Oh, my
Says-
mistake.
He says, what about a spider?
I look at Glow. How does she feel about a spider?
Just narrows those bright glowing eyes.
I'm sorry, I know. I'll make you a pretty spider at least. Spider could work.
Ooh, this is the DM speaking. What about a peacock spider?
Oh, an
you-
itty bitty one.
Yeah, you want a
It's
pretty
okay.
spider? There's your pretty spider.
Oh, it's going to take her forever to get up there if
Mm.
she's a peacock spider. Right. Well, I'll see what I can do with her. When we get to that point. Because it will
Yes.
take me quite a while to sort out that ritual to resummon her.
He nods and says, okay, well, good news is it doesn't need to be today anyway. It looks at you, Videricus, and says, what about your interrogation? Did you want to do that immediately?
I'm happy to start it immediately and sort of use that pretense to come back over a couple of days and draw out my relevant questions and hide them in amongst a bunch of sort of legal-ish questions.
It looks at the rest of you and says, what do you think?
Sounds good to me. It's really our only option.
He says,
Yes, I mean, you're going to treat him reasonably well in the null cell, right? That will be fine. He just won't be able to magic.
Ozod glances up from whatever he's been inspecting, goes, "You what?"
he says, yes, we'll need to, I'll need to set it to allow him to speak, which is off by default. I mean, just hoping that he hasn't prepared any spells with purely vocal components.
Well, I took both of his spell books and his component pouch, so he's not going to be able to do a lot unless he does have any tattoo spells. On his body.
Even so, the protections on the cell do prevent most lower level spells from happening under any circumstances. So if he has a power word, it could be bad, but that will be on you.
Nobody's going to use a power word on a kindly old man who's trying to get them out of prison. It will be fine.
These
Do
guys are all
we-
jerks, though.
I mean, yeah, they're slavers. They're not great. But just from his mask, if is his mask around?
We'll
Is it
need
on
that
the
too.
Yes, is it on the table? Does he have his mask?
Izod goes into a drawer, unlocks a drawer on the desk, pulls it out, and presents the white mask.
Right. Do we know from... I don't really know too much about Tarthian culture. There's ranks of Ascended, right? There's levels. Do we know what he is from his mask?
He says, this much I can tell you at least. Yes, so he is called an Ascendant, which is the lowest level of the Ascended. So the tiers of the Ascended are white, black, silver, and gold, which are Ascendant, Great Ascendeds, Grand Ascendeds, and Supreme Ascendeds. And so it's just a straight up Ascendant. He is still seen as rising in the ranks, and is
He's
therefore
ascending.
yeah.
I see.
It does make him higher. So the Ascendeds are still higher than other mages, than the majority of mages in Tarth, because you've got the Ascended, then you've got the Adepts, and then you've got the Neophytes. The Neophytes are, newly magical, or only just entered into the the nation or the hierarchy, and the Adepts are the ones who've proven themselves to be competent at magic, but haven't challenged and ascended for the right to be ascended themselves.
Challenged? Do they fight each other?
Says yes, duels are common among wizards, though they are not too often fatal.
Love a good wizard duel.
Yes, the arena that you have probably walked past several times, part of its original purpose, aside from gladiator fights, was for wizards to challenge each other.
Fun. I like that.
He smirks and says, "You wouldn't if you were there."
Probably not. Really, my only experience with wizard duels was back in school, and they weren't really that dangerous.
And he goes on to explain that as well as the mages of the Tarthian Ascendancy, there are two other tiers of society. You've got the free persons, who are the middle class. Free persons is what the Tarthians call them, but they're essentially servants to the mages. But they have a lot of choice in terms of how they do that, where they live, but they're not allowed to leave the nation. Their movement is controlled to an extent. But then you have the servitors, who are straight up slaves. And they serve both the free persons and the mages. So they're sort of middle class, so they don't have all the privileges that comes from being a mage. They do still get a degree of privilege because they are not servitors and still have servitors serving them. And there's always that promise of, oh, hey, look, free persons, you could become a mage yourself. You just have to learn magic. Anybody can do it. It's easy.
Right. Well, that's a lot to go on. Ericus?
Yes. Well, why don't we pop this fellow out of his necklace? Sorry, get everything else ready first, and then we'll pop him out of the necklace, and we'll begin things. I will, as soon as you provide me those robes, I'll change and prepare my face for the work ahead.
And your
Okay.
best Russian accent. I'm so excited.
Oh yes, don't have to
And
do that.
he says, very well, let's get on with it. And we're going to take a short break there as Doug prepares his questions, I think. And we'll be back soon. Hello, I'm David. I'm the Dungeon Master and Showrunner for AntipoDnD. That's Antipodean Dungeons & Dragons. Antipodean-D is a show in which a group of Aussies play Dungeons & Dragons in a homebrew setting partly inspired by prehistoric Australia and New Zealand. We pre-record episodes weekly and upload them to YouTube on Fridays. Each episode is about 2 to 3 hours long. Though this is my first time running a show like this, I feel like it's the kind of thing I was almost born to do. I have backgrounds in theatre, including acting, writing and directing, visual arts, game design, animation, and I used to work as a writer at BioWare where I created content for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Meanwhile, the players I invited to the show are all creative Australians like myself. Kynwyn is an accomplished novelist and TV writer. Doug is an amazing tabletop miniature painter. Zindy is an incredibly prolific artist who did the official character art for our own show. And April is a concept artist who works for Wizards of the Coast, creating, among other things, official creatures for Dungeons & Dragons. Together, we're telling a story about 4 strangers who travel to a mysterious archipelago on the far side of the world, where gods walk among commoners, hidden in plain sight, and titans loom over the horizon. Through Patreon, we're giving you, the viewer, an opportunity to support us financially in the ongoing production of AntipoDnD. Your support will go towards covering the costs involved in production, improving the quality of the show, and maybe even hiring additional help so that I can focus more on running the game instead of producing the show. In return for your support, you can choose to receive rewards such as your name in the closing credits, downloads of the tokens and battle maps that I make for the show, and stat blocks and descriptions for unique monsters and items for you to use in your own D&D games. If you can't support us financially, that's fine. We know that not everybody has that option. The show will always be free to watch as it is right now, and if all you can do is let us know that you're enjoying it, then that's more than enough to keep us going. But if you are able to help us with this journey, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the Wandering Isles. And we are back. So, heroes have hatched a plan. They're going to interrogate a Tarthian ascendant in the Zone of Silence. I can't remember what I originally called it. At the in the Mage Tower of the Coruscant Academy. So we're going to fast forward a bit through. The preparations are made. The cell is properly configured so that it is blocking low-level spells, but people can speak within it, can speak and be heard. And Vatericus is provided with the basic materials he needs to disguise himself, including a rather nondescript grey cloak that covers the face not entirely, but enough to cast a shadow. So Vatericus, you're disguising yourself, aren't you?
I am. So I have brought effectively like a small suitcase that is my disguise kit, and I've gone for like basically long floor length animated Merlin style beard. I have added a bit of extra nose through the cunning use of prosthetics. And I have hunched myself over into an old man pose and dotted some liver spots on the backs of my hands.
Oh, convincing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Actually,
Could have
before
had,
you
like,
go
a-
down, Morzord.
What?
Do you have any sort of like cleric blessing? I don't know what you do. Can you tap him on
Yeah.
the back? Is there a spell you can cast?
Yeah, so Mozart does have, let me see, I do have it actually prepared and everything, which is great. There's a, like, divine encouragement. Oh, spells, there it is. Sorry, just jumping through the tabs here. There was a
Aussie's just like
guidance.
sitting there in his robe, eating soup, watching.
Yeah, but it only lasts for 1 minute, the one that I've got. Which...
And any spell that you cast
yeah, it'll be
is likely
dispelled.
to be negated by the cell anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mozart says, well, you know, I can tell him he's going to do all right, but we know he'll put it through, but he's done it
That's
before.
normally my job.
can
Sorry, again?
I'm going to get Vitericus to roll, I think, charisma. Just a charisma ability check plus your proficiency bonus because you have a disguise kit for the creation of this disguise.
He'd have an enormous take 10 on that, though, right?
Well,
'Cause he's got all
He
the
could
time he
roll.
wants.
He could roll a 1, so
yeah,
roll a
and
1,
take
very
10 isn't a thing in D&D. It's more a case
Alright.
of the easier it should be. You know, the longer he takes on it, the easier the difficulty, the DC becomes. I'm also going to ask, are any of you going to help him?
Given the
not.
display that we put on just before we got here, I don't think it would be a good idea for any of us to go in there and help him.
Also,
mean-
I punched that guy in the face a bunch
Yeah.
of times, and I'm the one who told him to get into the necklace.
By help, I mean,
Aussie,
I
Aussie will
sorry.
help out.
To be clear,
Yes, I know
Amanda,
what you mean.
are any of you going to help Vitericus
Yes,
work on his disguise?
yes, Aussie will.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
He'll help with
I
the
have no idea.
hair and the beard and the outfit and just be
Cool.
critical.
That means Vitericus can roll charisma with advantage plus your proficiency bonus.
You're not wearing the
Wonderful.
hood right. You need to pull it down more.
Well, that's another 1.
Oh no,
and-
I cursed you. I'm
and-
sorry.
Stop it!
A 13, which goes to 19 with the proficiency bonus.
Woo!
Cool.
Another
Okay.
1.
Yep. You Aussie gives you some very helpful hints when you, especially when you realize that you decided to disguise yourself in a room that doesn't have a mirror in it. So having somebody
I've got a pocket
there,
mirror.
having somebody there to actually look at
Yes.
the big picture and give you some tips is very helpful.
Fix the hem. Now, I do want to send Glow in with you, but I'm not going to because he definitely saw her and she does look like an owl right now, so you're on your own.
That seems entirely wise.
Oh, is this the character you're going with?
It is indeed. And as I'm walking down towards the cell, I'm going to pray mightily to Tethuan because my deception rolls have been horseshit today.
Okay. Can you give me a summary of what the prayer to Tethoan would sound like?
It's basically going to be as I'm sort of making my way down. I'm sort of taking the long way down, but it's going to be I'm about to engage in quite a bit of deception, sort of for a cause, but mostly for the sake of trickery. If I'm being entirely honest, I would appreciate the assist.
Okay. I'll make this another charisma, just a straight up charisma ability check, please.
Okay.
See, my prayer would
Nobody's
have been,
helping
oh
you.
god, oh fuck, oh god,
Oh,
oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck.
That's so I rolled a 5 for a total of 8.
Okay.
This is...
Dude, what's going
Low
on?
dice
Why
day.
you?
Ooh,
You need to like start rolling some like real dice to shake the funk off.
clearly.
That's not how dice work.
Exactly how dice work.
It is how dice
TNT
work.
Beyond is clearly glitching today.
That's right. They've got it out for me.
So,
Cool.
yeah,
So 8
Vitericus, you mutter your words and you don't get a response. Not that you normally do anyway, but yeah, you're unclear. Hopefully she's heard you and is doing something.
Mhm.
So eventually Izard leads you down. At some point, we'll say you took a short rest because you will have had to attune to the necklace in order to release him from it. Because Izard decides, look, you don't want anyone else in there to release him when the time comes.
Wonderful. And I assume there's a change of clothes in the cell for him. Because we're changing him out of his gear, right? Or are we not doing that anymore?
Izad's still uncomfortable with that idea and says, look,
Okay.
let's just talk to him today and we can decide whether you need his gear later. We've got time.
Let's do that then. Wonderful.
Okay, so it's all set up. There's the cell. It's basically a little more than a 10-foot cylinder with all kinds of magical runes inscribed on the inside. There's a circular room around it where the rest of you can listen in if you while staying out of sight if you choose to, but you don't have to be in there. And Izad decides that yes, he does want to listen in to the entire conversation.
I think Aussie does as well, if he can stay out of sight.
Yeah, staying out of sight is no problem. And so Izad says, "All right, in you go." Release him in there, and there's a door that slides shut and says, "Slide that behind you. We'll still be able to hear you through it, but you won't be able to hear anything that we say out here."
Argus takes a deep breath, adopts the Hubert J. Farnsworth hunch, and sort of awkwardly shuffles into the room with his pile of books and the necklace. He settles on the chair, kind of adjusts his books, so that they're within easy reach and that sort of thing. They're all sort of legal sounding texts. Vitericus has no intention of reading any of them, but they are there just in case he needs to do something. Or needs a prop, and then he will release the lad from the necklace.
Release the
Okay.
lad.
I choose
Oh my
you,
God.
Ascendant.
He's so injured still too. Oh god damn it.
So on the floor, pop, this bound and gagged Tarthian wizard appears, still in pretty much in exactly the same condition he was in when you put him in the necklace. It's only been probably about half an hour to an hour since you from his perspective. Good news is that means he hasn't had a proper chance to bruise up yet, but at the same time he still does look like he's been a bit roughed up. He's got a few scratches and grazes about his head, and visually you're very glad that Izad does not have line of sight to see what state this man is in. And he looks about with a start and sort of goes, and locks eyes on you, Vitericus, and goes,
Wonderful. As he arrives, or as he appears, I'm going to look shocked and go, "Oh my goodness! Here, let me help you with this." And so I'm going to remove the gag.
Okay. Oh. Where am I?
You are in what we might call a safe place for now.
You see him make a gesture, and you think he's trying to cast a spell, and it obviously fizzles out. It says, "Safe for whom?"
For us all. For us all. I doubt I could withstand your full magical might, but here we can speak as equals, or at least as close to equals as we can get. Yes?
Very well. What would you like to know?
Wonderful. My name is Alkanost Wright. I am legal representative of the Royal Embassy at Heron's Perch. We found the necklace, this one here. Yes, you recognize this?
Yes.
Wonderful. We find this on Injured Academy Wizard.
Huh. Can you give me a deception roll, please? With advantage because of your costume.
Yes, also because I'm acting, and I always get advantage when I'm pretending to be someone else.
Yes, you are acting.
We can unpack that later.
So that is 22.
Okay. Now, an all-important insight roll from him.
Oh.
Okay. And he says, What happened to the... What happened to that wizard? The one with the necklace?
They are being treated for injuries. In the meantime, they have made accusations against you. We must discover truth of them.
Well, I would say from the beginning, do not trust a word that individual says. They ambushed me in the... I had a team. We were preparing to investigate some ancient ruins in the middle of nowhere. No claim had been placed on it. And then suddenly, this group of mercenaries ambushed us. It killed 3 of my comrades and friends, beat me into submission, and forced me into that prison where I've endured many, many hours, feels like days of... I won't go into the details, it's too tedious to describe, but I will assist you in every way.
Ah, wonderful. You see, we reach truth together. Now, let us begin with the basics, yes? What is your name?
Let me check my notes, he says. I am Jeros Kyn. That's JeroskYne.
Kyne. Excellent. Jeros, do you have a preferred language?
I am comfortable speaking common.
Very well. We will proceed with common. If there is another language which you are more technically gifted with, we can get an interpreter in to pursue this if you require.
There would be no point. None who could speak such a language would be interested in helping you, I believe.
Very well. Continuing on then, how would you, what is your preferred term of address? What is your rank? What is your title? What things should we attach to your name, Judge?
I am Ascendant Kyn is my full title, if you wish to know that, of the Tarthian Ascendancy.
Very well. Excellent. Excellent. So that's sort of the initial legally type questions out of the way that pull some of the information out of him. I'm going to keep sort of picking through and asking questions, things like, so tell me, Ascendant Kyn, what were you doing in the Wandering Isles?
Searching for lost artifacts of ancient civilizations. As many have done, I have come to this faraway place, much of it still uncharted and undiscovered, to find magical relics that can be brought back to the safety of the Tarthian Ascendancy, and perhaps used and researched and studied to benefit all.
Yes, of course. This is quite a distance from Tarth, yes? Do you have, well, forgive me, this is more personal interest than anything else. Do you have a benefactor, someone who is helping you with this, or are you out on your own searching for relics?
No, I am here on my own, but I did travel here via Tarthian transport.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Just so that we can corroborate story, which transport did you arrive on?
I do not know its name. This is David just trying to put 2 and 2 together and make sure everything adds up. It was a delegation ship, I believe, ambassadorial, if you understand. I do not know the final destination. That information was not given to me. But I departed at Heron's Perch.
Oh, wonderful. Maybe we saw each other there. Although I do not remember an ascendant. Perhaps I was
No.
inside. These things happen. I spend lots of time inside.
I think you would remember such a thing.
Perhaps. Forgive me. Ascended, do you not normally wear masks?
Yes. That wizard.
This is a sensitive topic.
Yes, that wizard that you describe has stolen it from me. I would like to have it returned as soon as possible.
Of course. Yes. We will see what we can do. Although, anyway, we will get there. We will get there. Tell me about your relic hunting. Yes, you said you were at a unclaimed ruin. Where was this?
It was short distance from a small settlement called Mirror's Reach, I believe.
Ah, wonderful. And there were no other claimants there? No other dig teams? Nothing else?
Well, there was a team who seemed to be interested in a location nearby, but they were not actively engaged in the ruins that I was investigating.
Wonderful. Well then, in that case, we may have to pause briefly while I corroborate some of this information, but one last question. Who should I talk to from Tarth? Who is your supervisor? Who is your next in rank? These things escape me. I have not been to Tarth.
Might depend. Are we currently in Heron's Perch?
We are elsewhere at the moment. You have been returned to Providence, actually.
Yeah. He looks visibly frustrated by that and says, well, I do not think there was anyone in Providence you can speak to.
Perhaps not, but we can send letters, we can send messages. Great distances, yes, you understand magic. I do not understand magic, but you understand how these things work. Is there another we could speak to? To confirm that you left, to confirm that you arrived, these sorts of things.
Is it not enough that I am an ascendant? That I have or had a mask indicating my station?
Yes, but these things require... At the moment, it is you versus an academy wizard. Yes, he said, she said, they said, who said, what said. These things are difficult without proof.
An academy wizard who did this to me.
Yes, they have argued that the alternative was to kill you, so they were performing a mercy. And so we must corroborate this. We must speak to others who were there. Are there any others who could verify the assault?
There's a party of 4, and that is all I remember.
Tracking down 4 individuals with no further description across all of the Wandering Isles. This is difficult. Can we have another who we could speak to?
Well, he said he is happy to give you a full description of essentially the 4 of you as you appeared at that moment.
Wonderful. Wonderful. This will help us immensely, but it is still difficult to track 3 people across all of this space. Yes, there are cities and towns, but there is lots of open space.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you bring that wizard in here and I can talk to him?
This is not quite how legal process works here. We must establish evidence independently and then we will see which story is true.
Please, I'm sure that he and I could come to a settlement that would make all of this legal complications unnecessary. Could save you a lot of work.
Perhaps. For now, though, I must leave. I must check travel logs for ships, ensure that your diplomatic vessel or your delegation ship has indeed set at Heron's Perch and taken off again. these sorts of things. You understand? I must check that what you are telling me is true.
Well, how long am I to wait here?
This is a good question. It is perhaps unwise to, or it is perhaps cruel to leave you here bound. So I will remove your restraints on hands and legs, yes?
Okay,
You'll be able to move about cell freely.
We just pretend I've not been doing any hand gestures for him for this past 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You will be able to move around freely. You will have food, drink, these sorts of things brought to you. And I will be back, hopefully, ideally, if I can find answers tomorrow. And we will continue discussion. Yes? Just until the truth is uncovered. Once the truth is uncovered, we can get you out of here and we can return you to your people.
Very well.
If there is any other information you can give me that would help expedite this, this would be very helpful.
If I think of anything else, how will I inform you?
If you rap on the cell door here, the guard outside will hear it, and they will be able to inform me that you have more information that you wish to bring to me.
Very well.
Wonderful. Are you hungry now? Can I bring you food, drink, these sorts of things?
Yes, I would not say no to a meal at this point.
Very well. I will make sure this comes to you soon. In the meantime, Jeroskine, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for giving us an understanding or a better understanding of the events. I will corroborate this information, and we will speak again tomorrow, hopefully.
Very well.
And I will pick up my books, awkwardly shuffle out, and scene. So I'll knock on the door. Someone, I'd imagine, will open it. I'll step out, closes again.
So Izard, once the door is closed, Izard says two things. First of all, he's full of shit. Secondly, have you just volunteered us to feed this prisoner in a room that is meant to be reserved for students going through a magical emergency who need dampening?
Oh, is that what this room is for?
Yes.
I've only ever seen it used to incarcerate tiefling children. So
yeah,
that was prison cell.
That was why a certain individual was fired for using it.
Yes. Okay.
For using it in a way not unlike how you are proposing we use it now. I thought you were going to put him back into the necklace.
Oh, I can do that.
I mean, I know it's not ideal, but we can't have him hanging. I'm the only person who knows that this is happening. We can't just leave him in there overnight.
Are we going to treat his wounds before we put him back in the necklace? What do you think he wants to talk to me about? Do you think he'd kill me if I went in there?
Yeah. He'd probably
He
try.
has a plan.
Oh, you two are here too. Oh, all right.
It's the other side of the cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been standing at the very back, just being like, "Oh."
I was gonna say, sort of watching the show, but also very much keeping mouth shut.
Wonderful. Well,
Izard says, well, how about before you put him back in the necklace, we can spare a healing potion. That might make him a bit more. That might help convince him of your good intentions.
yes.
Yeah, but I will say I don't think you got anything out of him, anything useful at all.
Oh, we got his name. We got all sorts of things. I got a ship that we can check. I got, all those sorts of things. He doesn't want to be in Providence, I can tell you that much. So he doesn't know that there's a Tarthian delegation here.
Didn't he come on the delegation ship? Wouldn't it have been the same ship that was carrying them?
Furrows his brow and says, that's a good point. He knew that there was a delegation. He didn't know it was going to Providence.
Yes.
Seems like he was acting on his own, perhaps. Maybe he was telling the truth about that.
I suspect he has a benefactor back home in Tarth, but I don't think it's the same people who are here.
For sure, absolutely.
And Izard thinks and says, if he's not happy about being in Providence, it's probably because he still thinks that Tarthians are likely to be killed on sight here. He's scared.
Yes. That would be my read also.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do with that information.
Wonderful. Cool. In that case, then I assume a healing potion has been grabbed.
Yep.
I am going to step back in to the role of Alkanost Wright, Ace Attorney, and I will shuffle back in and say, Deros Kain, my friend. Slight complication, but we can address it. It will be fine. First off, healing potion. Yes? For your wounds.
Well, it's a start. He chugs it, heals up a bit.
Wonderful. Second thing, word has spread that there is Tarthian wizard in Providence.
Well,
This may cause problem.
you brought me here. It's
Yes,
therefore your responsibility to see to my safety. You understand?
Indeed, indeed. And this is why I have a solution to suggest. Yes?
Yes.
Necklace.
Oh. It's so boring in there.
Better to be bored than dead, yes? This time you will have hands free.
That is true. Could I have a book at least? Something to read?
I'm going to... One moment, please. I will find something from my collection. And I will step out, quickly go. Once it's shut and everything's deadened again. Aussie. These
What?
books I grabbed from the library, are any of them bad for a wizard to have?
I will quickly flip over all of the books and make sure there's no magic in them. Just the
Are any
magic
of
of
them,
legal
like-
judicial system.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be something like
One
the history
Fabio
of the
Penny
law in
Dreadful.
Talaras or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you definitely could have found something like that in the Academy Library.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
any
Yeah.
of these are any of these are fine.
Yeah.
They should be fine.
Wonderful. I will pick the smallest, least weapon-like one I can find. So I'm not going to have him beat me to death with a tome that's like this thick
Aw.
when he comes out next time.
He takes his legal book and goes, really?
It is all I have. If I leave again and go to the library, it arouses suspicion. This
Fine,
way, there is-
fine.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I will hold up the necklace.
Go ahead. And you say the power word and shoop, in he goes.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's how that works.
Is it a shump noise or like a plug hole noise?
Nice. Wonderful. And Alkanost Wright will shuffle out of the room and then straighten back up into Vitericus once he's done.
Did you get him back in all right?
Yes, he's fine. He believes that that he's in mortal danger, so the necklace is the safest place for him to be.
I mean, he is, so you're not lying.
Right. So here we go.
Right, are we going to keep him in a drawer in your office, Isolde?
Isolde says, yeah. Certainly my office, I think, is the safest place for this thing, for now.
Mhm.
All right, hand it over.
Wonderful.
He's still doing a voice.
And Isolde says, so what's next?
Well,
Research.
yes, there was some stuff that I wanted to research in the library, sort of related to our fight with Endigon, if that was all right.
It says, all right, well, when you decide to speak to him again, or if you need any help with your plan to scout out the Panopticon, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be here.
Of course. If you could put some feelers out on that delegation ship, I assume that's the one that the Tarthians arrived on, right? That are in here now.
Yeah, they came here on a. It's a ship of the line. It's not one of their carriers. They haven't brought any airships with them.
Wonderful. Do we have any particular information about crew complement, travel itinerary, those sorts of things?
I
Things that
can.
would corroborate our Tarthians story.
I might be able to get some of that for you.
Wonderful. Even a name for the ship would be helpful because then I can give him that at least, and it sounds like we're checking it out and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't know that offhand, but I'm sure I can find out.
Wonderful. Excellent.
Okay. And with that, interrogation is concluded unless any of you have anything else you want to discuss with Izod.
Nope, nope, nope.
Okay. The morning's business is attended to. So what do the four of you do now?
Right. Vitoricus, did you want to go to the library now, or should we go later in the evening?
Well, I guess that rather depends on what everyone else is doing. Are we doing anything fun, exciting, interesting? I don't want to read books if we're doing something fun.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was gonna go stock the pantry. That was my plan.
Oh, yeah,
I want
shopping's
to
fun.
go
Shopping's
do
alright.
a bit of shopping.
Shopping. Well, we's probably going in the same direction then. If you
Yeah.
want to go to the markets and what?
Yeah.
All right.
Wonderful. Aussie, what do you want to do now? Do you have anything else you want to?
Not really. I was going to ask Connie for some flowers, but I can do that later.
Okay, well, if you don't have anything to do, why don't we do the books now then? And Morzod and Dagmar can. I almost said Morzod and Aussie. They would be the wrong people going shopping. Morzod and Dagmar can go shopping then.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful. It is decided. I'm going to hunch back into Alkanost and
Because
shuffle off.
he's still disguised.
I am.
Better take that off before we go to the library.
But why?
I don't want to be... What if someone sees you with me?
That is okay. You are helping elderly citizen do research. It is no problem.
Heracus is
Everyone.
probably going to look like this in like 3 months anyway.
Yeah, right? I'm so sorry about that. I really did feel like when I was you, I had one foot in the grave.
Grave, stop teasing him
Yes,
about
this
his
is-
mortality.
It's sad to only live for like 70 years. God.
It's tragic. It really is. Should burn the
Yeah.
brightest when it's a short candle,
Perhaps
you know?
this would be true, but apparently I am part death god, so this will be fine.
Well, let's go and find out.
A student
Yes, we
goes,
should-
wait, what? As you're walking through the academy.
Go back to class.
But, okay.
It's a saying.
Right, so I suppose we'll see you all back at back at Common Ground later, perhaps.
Yes, unless we want to do lunch somewhere else.
You're really committing to the bit there, aren't you?
What bit? I am Alkanost right.
Okay. Sure, we can meet for lunch somewhere. I had a little bit of
Sounds
business to
good.
do later, but I can do that after lunch as well.
Well, we've all been to that. Oh god, what was the pub that we went to the first time? Hang on. What's not on the map? Well, it is on the map, but it's not named.
There
Did
was like a big
we-
owl behind the counter.
Yeah, the Snowdrift Inn, which is
Snowdrift.
quite
That's the one.
close. Yeah, it's quite close
Yeah.
to Common Ground.
Uh,
So
Well, we all know where that is. Alright, that pub that we were at. Ooh, how long ago was that?
Like
A
2
while
weeks.
ago.
Oi, but we all know where that is. So, do you want to stop and get lunch there, and we'll
Sure. If we
Yeah,
don't
is that-
find anything this round of research, we can always come back in the evening and do it again.
Is that how
Oh.
books work?
wonderful.
They don't tend to go anywhere.
You go back another time and they tell you something different.
Sure. Sometimes they do. Right, come on.
Okay.
All
I
right.
am old man shuffling, so I am not moving particularly quickly.
I hate you.
Morzod and Dagmar, you make your way down, ask around where are the best places for fresh food, and they'll point you generally towards the beach market is where you go for
Okay.
that sort of thing. Either the beach market or the
Wait.
North Gate.
Well, we did
a
the North Gate, so beach market.
Yeah.
Beach market.
Cool.
All right.
So you can easily find everything you want there. I'm not going to roleplay every shopkeeper that you speak to while you're there. Aussie and Vitoricus, what are you researching until lunch?
The nightingale, I think, is what we wanted to look for, right?
Now,
Indeed.
are you researching separately, or is one of you helping the other?
I am
I don't-
100% helping Aussie.
Yeah, okay. He's like full wizard. Got the owl, got the robes in the
Yelping.
library.
But, well, like, I've got a towel and I'm dabbing his forehead when he gets sweaty because he's researching so hard.
Thanks.
Okay.
Lifting all
Like
those
Ron
heavy
and
books.
Hermione.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
investigation rolls with advantage from Aussie, please.
Okay. Advantage.
Kind of like blokes at a barbecue, right? Just looking at the book and nodding sagely while someone else does all the work.
16. Kind of garbage.
Okay. So, references to... you begin by looking at sections on religion, since this seems to be related to Dasha Undreg, the goddess of stillness and silence and peace and rest. And you don't... You find the occasional mentions, but there's very little recorded about Undreg herself being one of the more cryptic of the old gods. But at one point, Vitericus, you have an idea. What if you look at the sort of folk tale section, the fairy tale, the old wives' tales, and you do find there references to the nightingale, as more and more references to this idea of it's not truly over until the nightingale sings, is a phrase that comes up. And again, you get this sense of it is either a person who's been given the power of Dasha Undreg to escort lost souls to the celestial plane so that they can know peace at last, or it is Dasha Undreg herself manifest on the material plane to do the same thing. You can't, neither of you can really find a conclusive answer as to whether the nightingale was the goddess or an avatar of the goddess, someone serving the goddess. Now, in terms of how Vitericus's current situation, all the information you gather about the nightingale and Dasha Undreg is very interesting, but the question then arises, well, that all ended almost 800 years ago with the cataclysm, at which point many of the gods appeared to come down to the material plane, but not Dasha Undreg, and not a few of the other gods like Staud and Yengua and a few other old gods. So then, Aussie, the question pops into your mind: why did the gods come down to Valdra? Why did they splinter? And why didn't all of them come down? And also, you think that if you could maybe start looking for answers to that question, it might help you start to understand why one of them has apparently reappeared in Vitericus.
Wonderful.
Lots
And
to
so
go
while
on
we're
there.
yeah, I mean, so that tracks with what Engadon told me, right?
She did.
Aussie?
She did say that she seemed very stressed about being stuck down here.
Also, that I
Sure.
fell behind.
Something like that. Left her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't.
I
Well,
don't-
more like didn't escape the celestial plane in time. Whatever was happening there.
And Vitericus,
It's like
you got the impression that she thought she was speaking directly to Dasha Undreg when she said that. She thought you might have been her mortal splinter, as indeed she is the mortal splinter of the greater god that is Engadon. So she
it all
thought...
circles.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, that's
Fine,
fine.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it all circles back to the question that no one knows the answer to, isn't it? Why did they come down? Why did the gods splinter? Why can't they go back? Why is everyone cut off from the celestial plane? Why are there shades stuck on the material plane?
All excellent questions.
Why are they attracted to you?
Well,
Are you?
apparently now I'm at least partially the Nightingale, right? This is why the shades
Where-
are coming to me. They need to
Where
go
were you-
somewhere, but I can't send them anywhere.
Where were you born? What
Oh,
happened?
you know, around. It's
What does
hard
that
to tell.
mean? When
well,
were you born?
Let me just quickly check my notes. When was I born? Hang on, I do have that somewhere.
I mean,
Okay,
however
well,
old you
I have
were.
that trouble sometimes. People are like,
Yes,
how old are you?
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh
that's
god,
right.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's exactly what I do every time anyone asks, Doug, how old are you? Good question.
What year is it?
Yes. Well, I'm 32 now, so 32 years ago, I guess.
Mm-mm. What is it about you? Or was it random? Or is this god not in you? And Endergon is mistaken? Is it something else?
Well, remember, I wasn't born with this particularly. Well, maybe I was, who knows? But the shades haven't been appearing to me until relatively recently.
When?
A little while before I came over here. Matter of months, weeks, probably months.
Something
hard to keep
happened?
track.
What happened? Just
Mm,
suddenly one day there was shades? Was there a catalyst? What?
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding as we move along, as we encounter more and more things that are trying to destroy our mortal frames and souls and whatever, more and more shades seem to be attracting themselves to me, which is great because it lets me do more and more stuff, but it is more and more unsettling.
You didn't answer my question, though.
No, what was the question? Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, talking to you is difficult sometimes. Was there a catalyst? What happened? Or what do you think happened? Or if anything happened? And then suddenly you started seeing shades? Or was it just you woke up one day and there was ghosts?
No, it's just exactly the same as we were talking about over in the trenches over at Mirror's Reach, right? Like, I would pretend to speak to the dead, and then one day the dead were there.
So you reached out and then suddenly the great beyond reached back to you.
At some point, yeah. And here we are.
And
Here we are.
you do both recall that in stories about the Nightingale, there was always something about the siren-like draw of the Nightingale's voice that only the dead could hear, but it was the only thing that could cut through the haze of existence that is being a lost soul of just drifting aimlessly. It was the only thing that could slice through that fog and say, come to me, I will take you home.
When did you start pretending to speak to the dead?
Oh, that's an old trick. I've been doing that for years.
How long ago? How old were you?
Well, young enough that I shouldn't have been doing it, but old enough that I could survive on my own when I was chased out of town.
All right. There's a
The
lot
specifics
to
are
unpack here.
hazy.
Yeah.
But
I just
as we're
wonder,
flicking
was
through-
it...
Yeah, go.
No, go on. I was going to say, was it like the years of your siren song and finally they reached you or something?
Maybe.
But
I've
I-
always been persuasive.
has Aussie ever known of this sort of thing? Like, he knows that people can be given the power of a god, like Rala. But is anyone born with it? Like,
No.
no,
This
not that he knows
is... I'm not even going to get either of you to roll for this. You've never heard of anything like this happening before.
Well, I've never heard of anything like this before. And I don't know who to talk to.
Wonderful. Well, neither do I.
There
This
could
is not
be-
really my area of expertise. I just use the shades. I don't know anything about them.
Can you speak to them? Do they speak to you?
Mm,
Didn't you say that
occasionally.
one gave you a horrible divination that came true?
Yeah, that didn't go so well, huh?
No.
But occasionally they'll talk to me. They'll visit me in my sleep. They'll tell me that I'm not doing my job. All those sorts of things. But that's nothing new. People tell me I'm not doing my job all the time.
So this research has taken you up to about lunchtime. Dagmar and Morzod, probably didn't take you all morning to do your shopping, so what else have you done before lunch?
Oh, I wanted to go get clothes and some armor.
Mm-hmm.
Was that included?
Mozart will tag along with that.
Cool. We can,
Thank
I can very quickly say that any common items, any non-magical items, you can easily find after a short walk around town, asking around, so you can equip with anything you need that's easy to come by.
Awesome. So I'm gonna buy some studded armor. A really cute blouse with great sleeves in mustard and some real cozy burgundy leggings.
Yeah, are they like Batwing slaves?
Yeah,
That
but
would be
like, and then
so
they come
cute.
in.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
But like
that's a
with a
point.
long cuff so that I can
Yeah,
put
yeah,
my
yeah.
leather
Yeah, so
thingies over.
yeah, arm guards, yeah.
Are we going to need to
And
to redo the intro portraits?
Well,
keeping the hat.
Always
I
reaches.
don't think
Yeah, that always
we're
reaches a point.
how many episodes before we have to change all the opening sequence anyway? And I don't know.
I also want to look into are there like beauty parlors in this city?
Oh my god, is there a nail place where you can go and get them done?
There
I mean, I
are,
want to get my nails done.
in the most expensive places, there are a few places where the rich are pampered, but it is quite costly.
What how would one go about dyeing one's hair in this?
That is
Scenario.
a lot simpler. It does depend on the color to an extent, but bleaching is pretty much something anybody can do without too much trouble. If you wanted to darken it, that's not too hard. You just need to find the right sort of apothecary who can give you the materials you need.
Yeah, I want to find an apothecary who can give me some black dye.
Cool. That's easy enough.
Oh my god, she's moved into her own bedroom. She's dyeing her hair black.
Love it.
I don't really want to go black, but having realized that I have called attention to myself with a guard in front of a poster, it might be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the poster doesn't imply that my hair is dark.
No, it specifically describes you as having red hair
And unbearded.
and unbearded.
Oh
And,
yeah, my beard's coming in.
and hatless.
Sorry.
Repeat, hatless.
And no goggles.
Yeah, so I would like to look for an apothecary. An apothecary specializes in hair dye that won't turn my hair green.
Cool. That is easy enough. It will only cost you 2 gold.
Excellent. I'm going to buy that and put it all in my sack. And I'm guessing that Morzod and I took the food back to Common Ground.
Cool.
Before we
Yeah.
did this.
And you can all meet up there for lunch.
Yep, I know we were going to the pub for lunch.
Snowdrift. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can then head to the Snowdrift Inn.
Yeah, it's not far from the common ground anyway. It's
Yeah.
right there.
So as you're sitting down at the Snowdrift Inn, actually, just as you walk in, you overhear a couple of City Watch. They seem to be actually walking around making inquiries. And of course, both of you are a little on edge about anything that the City Watch might be inquiring about. But you quickly realize it's not about you. They're asking for information. Apparently, some farmers on the edge of town fell ill a week or two ago, and actually tried to attack, kill, and even try to eat some other people around them. They think it was after they found a diprotodon on the road that seemed to have been struck by lightning and cooked and ate it.
Shit.
Unfortunately, one of the farmers during this brief period of madness, it only lasted a couple of days, but one of the farmers died as someone defended themselves with a pitchfork. And so they are now treating it as a murder case, and they're asking around trying to find anyone who might be poisoning diprotodon bodies or deliberately leaving poisoned animals in a place where people might find them.
God, should we? We shouldn't say something, should we? Or should we?
I don't think we should go over and talk to them. I do not think we should. I sit here and I'm going to continue having my drink. I'm going to mind my own business.
Yep.
I
That's a good
do not
idea.
know anything about poisoned diprotodons. I have shuffled from the academy all the way down to the Snowdrift Inn. By the
God.
So
way.
you
God.
got here an hour after
Has
Aussie.
Aussie gnawed his own arm off while...
Yeah.
I have to
Walking
ask, but at some point would Orsi have just given up and marched on ahead and let Vatericus catch up?
I feel like as they were walking, he would like go into stores while he was like waiting for him to like walk
I
past.
don't
Cool.
think Aussie would be willing to leave Vatericus without a kitty leash on him at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't want to let him out of his sight. So,
One of those
oh, maybe
backpacks is a
maybe in
teddy
one
bear
of the
that also has a...
yeah, the lead.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I think while he was waiting for Vatericus to shuffle past, he's gonna buy like a Grosgen ribbon.
Ah, cool. Yep, that's easy
Yeah.
enough.
Cool. An orange one. Hi, sorry we took so long. Vatericus is really in character.
There is no Vatericus, only Alkanoth Right.
There's only Alkanoth right.
He's still doing the voice.
I like your commitment. I could learn so much.
You didn't walk all the way from the library to here with him.
No, we did not.
As we're walking past the gate back out, like the first gate coming from Common Ground,
Yep.
are those two guards still there that clocked us this morning?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Orsi, one of them does look at you, but there is a moment of, oh, it's you. I'm keeping my eye on you. Neither of them recognize you, Vatericus.
He's just gonna be a snob about it and stick his nose up in the air. Keep walking.
Wonderful.
Come on, Grandpa. Let's get you to the pub.
Yes. It is what, midday? It is time for drinks.
Yeah, early afternoon.
Yes. Cool.
We
So I
have
will-
ordered for the table.
Yep.
Wonderful. I will old man groan my way into a seat.
Is there Protodon on the menu this time?
So because it's getting
I mean,
late,
go on.
because it's getting late, we're going to say, so you're, as you meet for lunch, you can decide what you're going to do with your free time afterwards. And we will come back to that next week to see what does our crew decide to, how do our crew relax and pass time while they try to work out how to scout out this panopticon and spy on these incredibly dangerous Tarthian wizards. So thank you very much for watching. We will be back next week.